Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Ladies' Room. It's your girl, Ashley Michelle, and I'm coming to you another night with my squad here. We got Mrs. Jovo.
Hey, y'all. What's up?
We got Mrs. Canon Hill.
Hey, good evening.
And we have her other half, Triple OG tonight.
He'll be hopping on the second. He say, "Hey, everybody."
Join us in a minute.
Hey.
We also have Raven, our girl Raven, will join us a little later tonight. All right. So how y'all feeling tonight?
I am fantastic. Let's get into it.
You got a glow, Jovo.
Oh, thank you.
You want to tell us?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm just blessed. I just feel great. I just feel great tonight.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How you doing, Canon? Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh no, I say, I've been doing good, having a good week out here in Georgia, slinging these houses, in real estate. So
yeah,
that's right.
Out there, you made a career change.
And definitely
so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks for everybody who's already tuned into the show. Hey, Big Cap, we miss you. Happy New Year to you too. Make sure you like the video, the live stream, and share it. All right, so we can have more people on joining us. All right, we'll open up the panel a little later for every discussion, actually, so you guys can chime in. All right, so we got a good show planned for tonight.
Yes, we do.
So the first topic I'm actually going to postpone until later in the night because we need our Triple OG here for this one. It was his idea. So I'm going to postpone that one. And we're going to move right to the next topic, which is why are divorces so nasty? So I think about like Jeezy and his wife, or ex-wife, I should say. I think about Shannon, what's his name? Shepard and Tayana. Hey, Darwin.
Oh, his name is Iman. Iman Shumpert.
Iman Shumpert, yeah.
Oh, Iman Shumpert. Okay. I'm
Yep.
thinking, okay, yeah. I'm thinking about them. And I mean, we never really know what goes on behind closed doors, right? And couples don't tell us the bad stuff usually, and they don't have
Mhm.
to, right? Like people always
Right.
say, yeah, people only put the good stuff on social media, but nobody has to put the bad stuff on social media.
Right. It's like, why would you be putting everybody in your business? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, like, you never really know, right? Every relationship has issues, right? They
Mhm.
appear to be happy and strong. I'm thinking they're gonna stay together for a little longer than most people, at least, because every time I heard them speak, they were talking about how important it is to stick together. You know,
Right.
so I was a little shocked by their divorce, but it's gotten nasty. Like a lot of these like divorces. So I know with Amon and Tayana Taylor, they started accusing each other of things. Tayana saying that Amon drinks around the kids, and even with Jeezy and what's her
Jenny
name?
Mai.
Jenny Mai. Um,
Yeah.
they're going at each other. It's like it's always so nasty. And I just want to talk about that a little bit more. Like why, like
Mhm.
at the core, why is that, and of course, because we like solutions here, let's talk about how we can change it. Why are divorces so nasty? What do you ladies say?
You want to go first, Miss Jovo?
I do because, as a mental health clinician, divorce falls under one of those major life changes that people come seek, guidance and help to navigate through. Because just like getting married or getting a new job or moving to a new city, divorce is like new territory as well. So, I think that it's nasty because I think that that's one of those situations where people tend to be more reactive because there's so many, it's such a plethora of emotions coming in and you're trying to digest all of that at the same time. I think that like, the anger that comes along with that. And then a lot of times people don't say it out loud, but the sense of inadequacy, because who really out here getting married and like on day one, oh, we're going to get married, but like 5-6 years down the line, I don't even see this working. We're going to get divorced. No, everyone gets married thinking that this is my partner, this is my life mate. And so when that doesn't happen, there's this sense of inadequacy. So you conjure up all those emotions, and then you're just so reactive with everything that's going on, then it gets really messy, especially if you're not dealing with how you feel about divorce. Because a lot of people, oh, it don't bother me, or oh, I got a whole new life plan, we about to turn up, I'm having my divorce party, or I ain't need her anyway, she spent too much money, all these different things. And they're not really being honest with how they're feeling, the sense of rejection, the inadequacy, the loneliness, all these different emotions that you don't necessarily experience like right when you get divorced, but they come in waves. And so as those waves come emotionally, the reactivity starts. They just start reacting all over the place, whether it's don't bring nobody new around my kids, or why are you still calling me? Everything is just like little bombs going off because the bigger bomb is now went off. you know
Yep.
so I
Yep.
think that's why it gets nasty. I think it's so many emotions involved. It has, if people are not processing how they feel, it's gonna get nasty.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
to Ms. Jovo's point, I
mhm,
think that when you are first, of course, getting into a relationship, right? You don't have a lot of baggage necessarily going
mhm,
on within the relationship. But then as soon as, things happen over time, um I think a lot of people underestimate the level of compromise and grace
mhm.
that is required to maintain relationships, period, especially like really close relationships when you live with somebody and you have your finances included with somebody, and like basically when your entire life is tied to somebody else's. It requires a lot, right? So I think that once people get to the point, they get to a point where they don't want to do that for each other anymore. like for whatever reason. They like, and I don't want to do it. So that like that's why it gets nasty, because it's like people, you already have people who over time have either had these differences of opinion, or had these different ways that they see things, or however they want to move forward in their life, or this is something that has happened over time. But now at this stage, when they're splitting up, they no longer want to have that grace for each other. They no longer want to compromise. They're like, nah, so I think that's literally why it gets nasty. And I mean, it also can be because something nasty happened to make the breakup happen. So it could be, you know what I mean? It could be like if somebody is beating on somebody or cheating on them or doing stuff, then I mean, that's why they broke up. So it's nasty now, right? Because and maybe the relationship been nasty, but it's finally just breaking up. So who knows?
Yep.
But,
yeah, I was going to ask that too. Do you all think that it's really just a continuation of all the crap that has been happening? That they have.
Every war starts with a bang bang, and so some people don't get over their first battle. Like the infidelity, the finding out there's an outside child, finances are depleted. You got the wife thinking everything financially okay because she done left everything in charge with the husband, and then she find out, oh my God, like we about to get put out of our house. It's so many, and I'm just giving y'all, those are just like two of the many examples that I've heard over the years of my profession, like so many different things. So it's like bang, 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 bang. And it's like war, you're at war, and your emotions all over the place. They all over the place. Yeah.
Darren, I want to get your opinion, but I also want to ask you all, do you all think that the kids and everybody's desire to want the kids adds to that nastiness? Like, because I just think for a lot of times I've seen people who've gotten divorced make these asinine claims about the person that they were with. And so I'm like, okay, so now all of a sudden they're alcoholic, now all of a sudden they're abusive, and you never know, all types of things happen. But I personally am starting to think that maybe the kids, the war for the kids makes it a little nasty too. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think people can't have a tug of war over the control of the kids. And that goes back to what I say about compromising. I think at that point, nobody wants to compromise. Like, if I don't want to compromise with you anymore, then, I mean, the kids are, of course, going to be the biggest thing that's included in that, and then everyone wants a sense of control. And some people don't like when they split up. Now they lose a certain sense of control in certain areas. And so that goes back to what Ms. Jovo was saying about it's inadequacy that comes into play. So it's like, I have to keep a hold on these kids, by any means necessary. But I feel like a lot of it too is just like a power trip. A lot of it, and people use kids as pawns, and it happens on both sides, where people will use the kids to get back at the other parent. That's whether it's a male or a female. Like, I've seen it both ways, and I can't really quantify like who does it more or whatever, but it happens, and it's unfortunate that the kids get stuck in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
What's funny to me, and I'm gonna go back to what Ashley said, is, and I'm thinking about the Tiana Taylor situation. All of a sudden, he's under the influence around the children. Now, my question to her is, when y'all were together and all on top of each other, were both of y'all under the influence in front of these children? Like, there's this battle of control. Like, if I got the upper hand, then I get to figure out how everything gonna be navigated. And for some, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that could have been a fight that they had been having, though. You know what I mean? She could have been fighting about that. Like, why you keep,
it could have been like one of those
kids? Like, yeah,
exactly. Like one of those things where it's like an ongoing like argument or issue inside of the relationship, and then now divorce and separation and divorce happens, and now all of a sudden every single battle, every single disagreement all comes to that table. And that's why I said all of these emotions, everything is jumbled up, instead of being objective and really pinpointing, okay, this is why we're getting a divorce objectively. Okay. This is what needs to happen objectively. And I know people are saying, in your mind, you're thinking this is easier said than done, Miss Jovo. Absolutely. Objectivity is never easy when you're breaking up with the love of your life. But it's needed. So I just have questions. Like sometimes people will bring up issues and it's, she does this around the kids or he says this around the kids. And then my next question is, how did y'all address this before? And how are y'all going to continue to address it? Because the other myth about divorce when you have children is I ain't got to deal with that person anymore. And we all know that's a lie because y'all got a co-parent. So, it's just so much.
Okay. What do you think, Darren? Why are divorces so nasty?
Wow. Well, I will never know. We never know the true reasons behind divorces when it comes to other couples and marriages and stuff like that. We just see what we see from the outside. But I do know one thing. I all the marriages and relationships that I've seen break up, I think they lasted a little bit longer than what they were supposed to last. And when you do things like that, you're gonna automatically be irritated with the other person. You're gonna nitpick. You're gonna find everything wrong with that person. Everything's gonna make you mad. You're gonna start fighting more because you really don't want to be there, right? And you're probably there for the kids, financial reasons. You can't move. You don't have the money to get your own place, or you would rather be comfortable in certain situations, so you just stay than to be uncomfortable in certain situations if you leave. So, and I just think people, overstay their welcome in marriages, and that causes a lot of problems because you tend to hurt the person more. So that's going to build up a more resentment when you do break up, and I just feel like if you would have left the relationship or marriage when you really wanted to, and when things got bad, you probably could have savored some friendship, you know. But I just think people just stay, they maybe the societal pressures gets to a lot of. I know it gets to women, and that's why they tend to stay in marriages because they don't want to be like the woman who couldn't keep her man and stuff like that, or being seen as, oh, she's been married 2 or 3 times, what's wrong with her, you know. Um, and men they just not gonna leave it. Men to cheat before they leave, and that again will stir up a lot of bad blood with the woman. So, it's just a lot of things. I think people just stay in relationships, in marriages they're not supposed to be in. A lot of people get married for the wrong reason. When they find out that it's not going to work, they tend to overcommit to something that they know they're not supposed to be in, and that will make you feel like shit. So you're gonna take it out on the other person because you feel like shit for trying so hard, and that and no one likes to fail, right? And most people, when they tend to fail, they tend to try to place blame on somebody instead of themselves. So people break up and they just start the finger pointing and stuff like that instead of looking in the mirror and just seeing it for what it was. We didn't work. We was two different people. We couldn't connect, and that's what it is. But people are very controlling. They feel like they want to control each other. So, each person doesn't want to let the other person go. And if they do go and they find somebody better, they're going to be mad because they live in a better life without them. So it's a lot of stuff that play into it. I really can't put my finger on one thing or what it may be, but I know a lot of things just by talking to people that's been divorced, and hearing their story. I get the idea that a lot of people just stay in relationships longer than they was supposed to be. So
bitterness, anger about things that have already happened, the kids, wanting the kids. I think I agree with all of you all. It takes a certain level of honesty with self, one, and forgiveness, to, go through a divorce. But then if those people had the ability to do that, maybe they wouldn't be getting divorced. So that's not always the case, you know. But yeah, they do get really nasty. I would like to hear from more people in the chat. I see you, we on live. Thanks for joining. Jody says women stay in marriage because of delusional hope. I've seen that. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. And Raquel says not only in marriages, but friendships, breakups, etc. I think she was kind of agreeing with what you were saying, Darwin. Jody also says because no one has the courage to be honest, and most times don't know themselves enough to do so. And that's kind of like what I was just saying. They don't have the honesty.
Yep.
Or the ability to kind of move on. We're not move because it's hard to just move on. You can't tell people just move on, but sometimes they're still so bitter about what's happened. All right. So anything else that y'all would like to say about that?
And their level of awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. Of course, I can talk about this all day, but like,
Yeah.
and I haven't been through a divorce, but you know, in terms of professional hazards, if you will, I hear about it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people that you know, we can't end the discussion without talking about self-sabotage, because a lot of people think they look at marriage and they look at entering a new relationship as a curative measure to get rid of self-sabotaging behavior. And then they go into a relationship with someone and they thinking, okay, I'm gonna make this work, I'm gonna make this work. Not even understanding that they haven't even dealt with, they're not honest with themselves. That I self-sabotage, it don't have nothing to do with this other person. It's me. Okay. And so they don't deal with it. And then they find a way to screw this relationship up. And then they come out of it like, I'm at war with this person, or we got this going on, or this with the kids and this. And it's like what I say all the time. I've said it on the show before. We're the common denominator to our best and worst relationships in our life. And at some point, you got to look at yourself and how you showing up in situations. Because some of us, we've had so much happen to us prior to marriage. We bring that mess into a marriage. And then when it's time, you know, if that time comes to divorce, then we all of a sudden people expecting us not to be messy. And it's like, no. Like some of us know we have married essentially some folks who dealing with some trauma. And if you knew you were married to this person and this trauma showed up at the dinner table, or it showed up on vacation, or it showed up in how they're parenting, then don't act brand new when the divorce comes up and you like, why they so messy? Why is this going on? And it's like, you kind of knew this was going to happen, because this is how they deal with other drama and trauma in their life. So that's something else to consider too. So, you know, it's so many layers to this when you talk about divorce. And then people do the wrong thing to deal with this situation. Like, you know, I always tell people that when you're going through something like this, like a new life, like rule number one when you divorce, or you're going into a new situation in your life, suddenly changing jobs, or just, you know, decide to move, oh, I'm taking the kids with me, and you moving 4 hours away from the other person. Not a good move. Now you're bringing more stress onto yourself, you know, and then you lacking self-care, and, you know, you're just so zoned in on, I want them to hurt like I hurt. And that's just a recipe for disaster. It most definitely is.
And another thing, I just think people just don't respect the evolution of other people, right? You know, it takes a lot for two people to not even just be married, but friends and everything to coexist for a long time, because everybody's mindset is shifting all the time, right? And so you got to imagine, like, especially when people get married young, or they just marry people that they don't really know, and I see it a lot. We tend to when we first got married, we start trying to hang with a lot of married couples and stuff like that, and we'll be in conversations, and we'll be sitting back, and we'll just be like, man, they really don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? And not to say like I know everything, whatever, but you can just tell like some of the questions and some of the discussions we have, and they'll look at each other, and you can see that they get irritated with each other because they felt like they just assumed that this person was supposed to know this about them. and sometimes we get so caught up in things that, and just because we have self-awareness of ourselves, we have to understand that we have to be in constant communication with our partners so they can understand that we are learning and evolving to it, so we can evolve and learn together. And if that doesn't happen, you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be like, this dude or this female is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's all about that self-discovery. And sometimes it can just click like a light bulb. And sometimes but when you communicate, you both gradually growing together. And I think people don't really understand that when they get married, that you have to constantly do check-ins with each other to make sure you're on the same page. And if not, and if you can't get on the same page, you have to be adult and mature enough to walk away. Especially when you got kids. I think people tend to make the biggest mistake by staying in marriages for the kids, because them kids gonna start seeing a lot of toxic things that's gonna hunt them, hunt the way they live in the future, and the way they look at couples and marriages, and then they go see themselves in the same predicament that they saw their mother and father in, because they thought that was just emotions of marriage. So my first relationship, I stayed for my son, and quickly that second one, I quickly left, like, bam, I'm out of here. And I think that's the only reason I'm close with my second child's mother now, because we both walked away when we felt like it wasn't meant to be, and we moved on, and we can now say we're friends because we didn't keep sticking each other on the way out the door. And
Okay. Well, this kind of brings us to our next topic. All right.
Oh, I got one more, Ashley. I know.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
We done? I got one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other reason too, and this might be a topic we need to discuss because this comes up a lot, gets nasty. Also, because people get mad because they really wanted their other person to make them happy, and they put all their eggs in one basket, and then you didn't make me happy, so now I'm gonna make you go through hell, not realizing that it wasn't the other person's job to make you happy. You make yourself happy. They add to your happiness, but then people will start blaming their partner for their total happiness and why it didn't happen. I just wanted to add that point too.
Okay.
She was about to say, because y'all be faking them orgasms for years before y'all leave. Y'all be mad as hell. Like, the hell is this? I stayed around for this shit. Y'all side nigga that made y'all squirt. Y'all like, I should have married him. God damn.
Wow. Okay.
See the OG coming out. The OG coming out. Here we go.
Yeah, his own face now. He gonna be cutting up. All right. So for those of you who just tuned in, welcome to the Ladies' Room. We just finished talking about why divorces are so nasty. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, like the live stream, and share it. All right, so that we can have more people join in on this discussion. All right. So our next topic kind of, the past topic segues into our next topic, which is all about co-parenting. Okay. What co-parenting boundaries do you think are important? I actually, to be fair to Tayana Taylor, okay, I did come across an article where she claimed that she never gave anybody a statement about why they divorced. Apparently, some of the court documents have been released. I don't know if that's true or not, but just to be fair, that's what she's saying. She's saying that she never actually issued a statement. She says, I mind my business, don't bother nobody. And y'all know I've never played about my children, family, or in our privacy. I have not spoken on this private matter to any media outlets or blogs. So hopefully that's true. Hopefully she really, wasn't trying to just bash his name or anything like that. Who knows? But that's just one example of many divorces that get pretty nasty. Hopefully they can figure out how to move past this time in a peaceful way. All right. She actually also released a statement about their plans for the future. And she says, in all fairness, Iman and I are separated and have been for a while. We are still the best of friends, great business partners, and are one hell of a team when it comes to co-parenting our beautiful 2 children. So that leads me to our next question. What co-parenting boundaries do you think are important? All right, go ahead. Darwin, this was your idea, your question. So you want to start us off?
Yeah, so I was browsing the net and I saw a clip about a woman being mad with her kids with her ex.
I'm so sorry. I gotta cut you off for just a quick second. I want to
Okay.
bring up our girl, the coldest, formerly known as Super Saiyan Supreme.
Hi guys. How you guys?
What's up?
Buenos tardes or buenos noches.
What's the coldest? What's up, Raven?
Yeah, that's what I was
Hey.
thinking. I was trying to be quick about it. Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm sorry, Darwin. Go ahead.
No, so I was and the lady, it said she was upset because she wanted to take family photos with her child's father and the kids, and he didn't want to, so it was a big thing about that. And a lot of the comments were saying, well, he don't have to take pictures, and what if he has another girlfriend that doesn't want him taking these family pictures and don't want to be seen with the baby mother and this and that. So I just start thinking about like what's acceptable, like what is, and I know it's based on each relationship, right? But universally, like what do you think is like acceptable for your child's father to do with his ex? Not just taking pictures, but like everything, like dating, well, not dating, going out on dates, trips, pictures, events, or what the case may be. So
Okay.
that was the question, and that's what got me thinking about this.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that went viral. The girl wanted, I didn't know if it was true or not, but she wanted the dad to pay to take pictures with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did y'all think about that?
I think that. Oh, go ahead, man. You go
Cross the boundary. What do you think?
Well, my take on it is, I don't see nothing wrong with it. If the two people can get along and be peaceful and in front of each other around the kids, then go ahead and and if it's all about the kids, then it shouldn't be a problem. Everybody should want their kids to see both their parents happy in the same room together, being friends, and and who wouldn't want, what kid wouldn't want to have a picture with both of their parents? If the exes have a problem with it, that's just something we have to deal with. But if it's no bad blood, then go ahead for it. And other things too, like going out to celebrate your kids' birthdays, dinners, breakfasts, whatever the case may be. I do a lot of things with my kids, and if my daughter ever said that, if I got my daughter and she ever said that she wanted her mother to come and be a part of that, I'm just gonna be like, oh, like, what's the big deal?
Okay.
It is some boundaries. I don't think like going on private trips. I'm not Will Smith and my wife not Jada, so I don't think I'll be taking a private trip with me and my wife and my baby mother. But we can coexist and have fun with each other. I think that's just my marriage and my relationship that I have with my child's mother. One of my child's mothers, the other one, I definitely have to have tighter boundaries with her because of our situation and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that I wouldn't do with her that I would do with my other baby mother, just to cut down on problems. And she's just not, it's just not a stable situation or whatever. So but every relationship is different. You have to talk with your partner and see how comfortable they are, and y'all both set boundaries, and and you got to stay within those boundaries, or the trust will be lost, and it'd be a bigger problem.
Okay. So, okay, I want to ask a follow-up question, but I'll wait because I want to hear what everybody else has to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really shouldn't be a problem. Like it just but it does depend on the relationships that the people have with each other. right? So if it's been like some, but to me, it's like it's larger problems. Like either like the taking a picture in of itself or whatever is not the problem. Um, it's the things that are the larger problems, like some infidelity concerns, right? Or some disrespect, or other bigger things that have happened. But outside of that, just somebody being like, you should never take pictures with your ex, even if y'all have children together. I think that that's like ridiculous. Like Darwin said, like if it's really about your kids, like because I know like me growing up. Well, I mean, I have pictures of my parents on their wedding day. You know what I mean? But you gonna want to see your parents around each other or experience that. Just and I think kids should be able to get it if y'all can get along. Why not?
Okay. Renee Lair says, I agree with a lot of what he's saying. We don't want to see it for what it is. Sometimes you grow out of love. I think that was actually in response to the previous question. Sorry, I was a little late with that. All right. What do you think? What do you think, Raven? What are some co-parenting? Well, what do you think about that situation?
I'm so glad you asked. I think greatly, it greatly depends on the couple. I know some couples who genuinely had that baby and that was it. They did not double dip with no back and forth. I do know couples, 20, 30 years, kids got out of college, they still dipping and dabbling. So it just depends. You got to be honest with yourself. If you know you still over there doing the monster mash, then come on. Don't be trying to gaslight folks into thinking this is a family photo.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about what's going on. Yeah, But if that's not the case, then by all means take the family photo. Please, get it in.
Yeah.
Show the family love and all that.
So do you all think that like if let's say a woman and a man, they have a kid together, they're not together anymore. The woman wants this family photo, but the man has a new wife and she says no, she doesn't want the family photo. What do you all think about that?
I'm not mad at the new wife.
My thing,
do the kids want the photo? Because see with co-parenting, the thing is you got to be real careful not to fall into the trap of what we want. Like if your kids are old enough, ask them what they want. Do they even want the family picture with mom and dad in it? Is it important to them? Are the moves that we're making in alignment with what we agreed about co-parenting in the first place? My thing is, if it has nothing to do with the children, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about it? If it ain't got nothing to do with the children, why are we talking about it? Like, I think a lot of times the trap that people fall into is they move away from what's best for the kids or what the kids want. And then they start thinking about their own selfish things. Because, and I'm only looking at both sides. If I'm a wife, I'm thinking to myself, you want a picture with my husband and you all's children, and the optics make it seem y'all like this happy family. Well, you had your chance at that. You had your chance. Like, why is this photo so important? Like what? How will it benefit the children? And are the children asking for this? Because for all we know, depending upon the age of the kids, they don't care about family photos. They'll be satisfied if y'all took a selfie together doing drop off and pick up. Like, why is this? What's the purpose behind this formality? And where is this picture going to be hanging? And do you expect me to have this picture hanging in my house? Like, I'm just throwing out a couple of. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit because it would be easier for me to say the warm and fuzzy answer of we can all just get along. The reality of it is sometimes you don't, but you know how to raise these kids. You know how to show up as an adult and raise these children. So, my follow-up question to the follow-up question is, how will this family photo benefit these children? How will it benefit the children? That's it. Because that's what co-parenting is about. Setting goals and making parenting styles based on what's best for the children. Okay. Not for baby mama who wants y'all to appear like y'all a family. None of that. Right. It's for what's best for the children.
Yeah. I agree.
But isn't my thing is we are family. Like my daughter's mother is family. You know, that's bottom line. My wife knows she's family. She's family us. So if we take a family picture and she's there, she can get in it because she's family. You know, I've been in Chicago and I went and got my daughter and my son, and we went out and I've got her other daughter and took her with us because we are family. I know I can depend on her. She knows she can depend on me, and I think a lot of people get lost with that when they break up. I know every breakup, like we just talked about, it can get messy and stuff like that. But if it's not messy and you don't have feelings for the other person, and I would like to think you could call your child's mother family. Y'all both have this wonderful thing that y'all created that y'all both would die for and do anything for. So in my eyes, that's family. I know everybody doesn't think like that, but you know that's why I say everybody has their own set of boundaries when it comes to things like that. And you definitely do have to take into consideration like how is it benefiting the kid. And most of the time the kid don't even know if it's going to benefit them. So you have to be, as a parent, you have to make sound judgments for that kid and know that like this might be a memory that you might look back on and be like, man, what was my father at this time? What was my mother at this time? Or you know, I had everybody that I loved around me except for this person. Or you know, it shouldn't always be like on this end I got all my loved ones but my father. On this end I got all my loved ones on my mother except for my mother. Why can't it be just one big kumbaya if it can be? You know, we know we all got a lot of messiness in our life. So at some point we like, why can't everything be good? You know, like, you know, as much as possible, we should try to make everything about just loving each other and everybody being happy instead of trying to find some way to be like, oh no, I don't want this person there.
Well, see, that's what I'm getting at.
Well, Joe, let me say this real quick. So, Darren, I agree with you. I think that, like, when you do choose to have children with somebody, regardless of what the relationship has been, you do become a family. You become like a family unit, and I think it's great when you know all the parties can get together and just love on the children. But let's say there's a situation where those bonds haven't happened. There's not necessarily any beef, but those bonds have not happened. And a wife of the father says, you know what? I don't want this. Like, I don't want you to be in the picture without me, without our kids, if we have any together, and you're over there with her and the kids that you have with her. I can see that being inappropriate because the truth of the matter is that usually married people do that with their kids. You know what I mean? So unless it's everybody, I do kind of think it's a little inappropriate to have it done outside of, you know, unless it's everybody.
Yeah. I think men can shut all that down. Yeah. I think the man that can shut all of that down. Like everything is going to go as smooth as he allows it to go. You know what I'm saying? If he has a relationship with his wife that he's supposed to have, she trusts him, you know, and she trusts him in front of her and away from her, and he has set boundaries already with the child's mother, then bringing these two families together should not be a problem at all. Okay. You know, only way it's a problem is if they have feelings for, if the husband has feelings for this woman and she has feelings for him because he hasn't completely shut it out or shut down the possibilities of them ever getting back together. And that's what me and my child's mother did. Like, we both know we're not getting back together, and that's the bottom line of it. You know, I feel comfortable with bringing my wife around her. My wife has been around her without me. She has went to go get my daughter without me. You know, so and there's nothing that I'm going. It's no secrets.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Look at y'all co-parenting like adults. All right, I want to get.
Yeah, because it's stressful if you don't.
I want to introduce. We have Raven's sister with us. Can you introduce yourself really fast? Tell us your name and tell us if you want to, your IG, where people can find you,
and your social security.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, we in Atlanta. You know how we get down.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you don't want to share.
Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm Raven's sister. So my IG is hey.ave, AVE, hey.ave. If you want to go follow me, it is private. So I'm gonna be screening.
Fair enough.
Hey, AVA.
AVE.
Oh, AVE. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you for joining us. What you say, Raven?
Don't do nothing crazy. I know. Don't do nothing crazy now. I'm telling y'all now. I'm telling y'all ahead of time. I know.
Sister gonna come out.
I got PTSD from the Lapeef group. I know.
Oh my goodness. All right. So what were you gonna say, Jovo?
I think too, people, we gotta discuss the reality of divorce too. Cause I think sometimes we as parents, we're supposed to protect our children. I get it. We what Darwin was saying about everyone coming together for the best interest of the kids. I think that is a wonderful idea. But in the event that it doesn't happen, in the event that, let's just say that mom has a new boyfriend, she broke up with the old one that the kids done known for the last couple of years, new dude comes in, stuff happens is what I'm saying. We need to be able to communicate that to kids too. Like, stuff happens, mom and dad are not anymore, we don't have certain feelings and emotions that we once had for each other. Though the man and wife element is gone away, but that does not mean we love you all any less, because and I like what Darwin said about not keeping secrets, because one of the biggest problems is you have these father of the child, mother of the child, they both dating somebody, but then this whole street moral code of, well, I can sleep with her, we can sleep together because we share children and all this other kind of nonsense, and that's when lines get blurred. Okay, because then the kids watching all of this, and they like, mama and daddy said they ain't together, but are they not really? Like, what's going on? So I think we have to like really be, honest with the kids about, we're all here for you. We may not all get along all the time. Like we might have disagreements or arguments. Like, there might be some things like when you get ready to go off to college, or when basketball season comes up and we try to figure out who going to this game and what, we might get into an argument, and arguments are okay. Like, sometimes things fall apart. Important part is, don't want you guys to internalize our adult stuff, because we over here, we're going to do some problem solving and we're going to get it together. Like, we can't keep hiding stuff from we can't keep hiding stuff from kids that inevitably they're going to find out about. Like it's only a matter of time. When they get to a certain age, they're going to figure it out. Okay. That's just like what I tell my daughter. Look, when me and your daddy argue sometimes, I don't like him sometimes, but I still love your daddy. Adults disagree. That's what they do. Okay. So we just got to make that reality, because you don't want your kids growing up thinking that every relation and interaction they have with another person going to be kumbaya, because it's not. Mm-hmm. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, y'all. I would love to hear from some people who are watching right now. I'm sorry. I put the wrong question up. What co-parenting boundaries do you think are important? So we talked a little bit about like the photo shoots and all that stuff. What are some other boundaries? Like, now, and when I say boundaries, it could be between the parents themselves, or even like as you're co-parenting, like, and you're dating other people. Like, what are some boundaries?
Oh, dating other people? Ooh, I thought you just see. I feel like a hard boundary is like no late night phone calls, because you may be calling at 2 a.m. trying to talk to kids. Come on, let's be realistic. Kids sleep. I think if we're gonna co-parent, we should be doing it relatively repetitively. It shouldn't be like you pop up on birthdays and holidays, and you buy a few gifts and sprinkle a little love here, and now you co-parenting. I expect it to be, the 50-50 or 45-55, whatever the case may be. Put your best foot forward. But also I don't have no children. You know.
Man, I used to be
A lot
wild.
of hypothetical over here.
I used to be
You
calling
said you
whenever
used
I
to wild
wanted
out,
to.
Darwin?
Man, I used to be like, hey, I want to talk to my son.
Shit.
3 a.m. I don't care what time it is. Put my son on the phone. Go wake him up. Go. I'm telling you, I used to.
Why is
be
my
wild.
child up at 2 a.m.?
Now you
No.
got
I used to be, hey,
yeah.
Exactly. Do not disturb.
You was acting like Jody off Baby Boy.
man, I used to be wild.
Oh,
Now,
Lord.
I'm here to see my son, the vet.
hey, you learn and
Oh,
you grow.
Yeah, if you don't live in my house anymore, don't be coming over unannounced. Like, that ain't what we do. Let's do a courtesy phone call. I might be entertaining. I might have guests. You can't just pop up. You know. Okay.
So
we
what
can't
if
sleep together.
I got the classic one. The baby mother gets a. I don't know how many situations y'all been in when y'all was dating or whatever, but and you don't have kids and stuff like that. But what if you've like doing a breakup, you've gotten into it with like her new boyfriend, and now you know they moving in together and stuff like that. So you know the new boyfriend don't want you coming over, picking up the kids. You gotta like do all this crazy stuff, or you can't go up to the school no more. Which it never happened with me. Well, yes, it has, but I just never respected none of that stuff. Like, because I was in these toxic situations where I go up to the school and I'm not even on a list no more. the boyfriend is on the list,
Wow.
And yeah, I've been in that.
Wow.
So all these stereotypical boundaries that we can talk about, I've probably been in all of them. You know what I'm saying? So the new boyfriend thinking he can discipline my son. Why I'm a father that's hands-on with my kids, and if a man steps in and wants to help raise a kid and the father ain't around, then by any means, him and that mother can sit down and talk with each other and see how they want to discipline the kid. But if a father is still active in that kid's life, no, you need to talk to me about how you want to discipline my kid, and I think the bitterness of sometimes won't allow them to even have that conversation with the father because they just don't want to deal with them, for whatever reason. They just don't even want to deal with them on no level. So they don't have those parenting moments with the father that they need to have, and they try to replace him with the new boyfriend, which is like kind of crazy, especially if you just met this boyfriend, really don't even know him well enough to know how he even what this man been through in life and when that discipline come out, some people, you have to be real careful when you discipline your kid because you might spaz out of anger. You know what I'm saying? Because the first time I whooped my kid, I felt really bad, because I whooped them because I didn't whoop them because they needed discipline. I whooped because I was mad, and that's the wrong time to discipline a kid, right? Just because you're mad, you have to have it has to be meaningful. It has to be like productive.
Yeah.
But and these women get these new boyfriends, they think they can come around and just start disciplining kids. And this dude probably was abused when he was a kid and just don't know the limits when it comes to that. So you have to be real careful with all this stuff, So it should be a lot of.
People think disciplining somebody else's kids is a hard boundary. That's a hard hell no. I just met you. Why are you trying to discipline my kids already?
But it's crossed a lot.
What if he knows him? What if they've been together for a while? Like, what if this man is stepfather?
Thank you, little sister.
And how?
Because we
you need to have that. I can't see you living up under somebody else's roof and them not being able to discipline you, your child. Like, it is worth the conversation to have. You should have a conversation, but realistically, how would you react if somebody said, "Hey, I'm gonna be here, but I'm gonna be laying down the law with little Tommy"?
No.
Tommy Egan.
You're not going. No other man is allowed to touch my kids. Point blank. Not mine. Not the way I parent. Not the way I'm involved in my kids' life.
Right. Come on. It doesn't have to be.
So we can't assume the worst, right? We can't assume.
He's talking about physical discipline.
That's
right. But
no, that's what he's talking about.
But
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about physical discipline.
So if new dude came
Not,
to and was like, look,
not like giving the kids the bedtime. He's talking about like
not rules. I ain't talking about rules.
Not a spanking
Okay.
different than getting punched on.
No, don't hit my kid at all. I don't care what you doing.
Spank, don't grab the ear. Don't snatch him up. Don't do none of that. Don't touch my kid. Period.
See, this the thing. Like this
that
the
happen?
thing. If
I don't even do
mom
that
need
to
to
my kid.
understand, if new boyfriend moving in with mom, then see, and this is why I be like, you ain't got to live with everybody you date, because this the main reason why, because people do not have the conversations they need to have. Like, hey, we about to live together. Let me tell you what my parenting styles are, because this is what we do with the kids, and this is what me and my ex do with the kids. And people need to start setting boundaries with the new people they have in their life. Like Big Tony or whoever can come in and just say, you know what, little Tommy Egan need a belt across his behind. No, that's not what we're doing here. Like mom need to speak up and effectively communicate that, look, we got our thing going on over here, but I used to be married to such and such. We share these children, and in our parenting plan, this is how we parenting the children. But going back to the same discussion we just had about divorce, people don't want to be honest, and they don't want to do the work. And the thing is, it's work. It's not something that you impulsively do and then hope for the best. That's not what you do. People got to have effective communication and really talk these things out. And I know, like, those of y'all who are having problems in this area that might, be watching the show, it's easier said than done. But if you're not even communicating with your new partner on what you and your old partner are doing in terms of parenting, why are you moving these people in your house? Why are you talking about beating little Tommy Egan and all of this good stuff, and you ain't even discussed with him, your current parenting plan? So, you gotta talk about.
I think that those issues that issue is one of the reasons why some people who don't have kids don't really want to date and or marry people who do have kids, because things get complicated. Like, let's say you're a man and you take on a woman's children, and they're living in your house. I think you ladies were saying, Ava and Raven, like, I have a right to discipline these kids. But then the father might say, the biological father might say, no, you don't. Like, and I see some people in the chat, saying, like Jody says, physical discipline. Nope, nope, nope. I'll paint the town red. So, and I think both of them have every right to think and feel how they feel. It just really complicates things, right? Like, it just makes things really complicated. So what do you do?
I just think that it's complicated because people make it complicated. I don't think it's that overcomplicated. I think that when you worked on a relationship with your partner, then I don't see why it's as complicated. I feel like a lot of it be coming from a power trip place, right? Mm-hmm. Because if me and my husband, for instance, like, his oldest son lives with us now, right? That's not my biological child, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we discuss things about how he should be parenting, what should be going on. Some things we don't agree on, some things we do agree on, right? Things that we don't agree on, but I mean, we do this even with our biological children together. It's like, we both have a right to do the things that we feel is best for our kids, right? We both have that right. So barring something that I think is just, like, dramatic, or like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, it's like, it's not that deep. So I feel like people be having their ego too much in it. Like, you got to do what I say,
but that's why you got to
find. And I'm in charge. It's like somebody, they feel like they gotta push their place, like they gotta prove. Especially be trying to prove themselves to kids. Like, what is you trying to prove to these
that's
kids?
Why you gotta
like, what is going on?
vet the person that you're with to see the background that they came from, to see if you're on the same page. Because just as easy as you saying that, it's not that complicated. Another person that doesn't have your upbringing is going to say it's complicated, and they might cold-heartedly believe in whooping the kid. Like, oh, you have to whoop the kid. This is the right way. So they might strongly believe that this is the right way. You might strongly believe that this isn't the right way. So that's why you have to start vetting these people that you're going to be cohabitating with and trying to build this future with. Because if y'all too different, it's just not going to work, especially when kids come into play. I want to raise my kid one way, you want to raise a kid another way. It's just going to be, and if you're both passionate about it, you both like 100% think you know everything about how you was parented because the way you was brought up, and you think you turned out to be this great person in the world because you got whoopings all every day for anything, then ain't nothing you gonna be able to tell that person. Because they gonna like say, Lord, look at me, my mama whooped me every day, and I turned out to be this, so we gotta whoop this kid. And then you, on the other hand, you think you this great person, and you never got a whooping. You're gonna be clashing all the time, and then that one day when that man or that woman whooped that kid, it's gonna be World War III. So that's why you have to find these people that you are, and it's hard, and you have to be,
But I think that it don't even. But that's kind of what I mean. Like, you can have strongly held beliefs or whatever, but how do you get through, or how do you square the differences that you have in a relationship with somebody? Like, it still goes back to that. It's like, are you respecting the other person's opinion? Do you just think everything got to be your way or the highway? Like, like that's like, you can have these strongly held beliefs, but how are you engaging with each other? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's certain times. So sometimes I come to you and be like, well, I don't think he should. And you be like, well, I think it's fine. I was like, okay. Like, because I might strongly feel a way about it, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, he's not gonna die. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Like you can let, and some other things, I come to you and you be like, well, I don't think whatever, but I'm like, well, I do. And you be like, okay, and then we'll go with that, But the important part is that we are on the same page. You're not.
Yeah, I think it's different. I think it's different things that's okay and not okay. Like when say for instance, when you don't want day on you having my phone and all them on these apps and stuff on my phone, and I'll be like, all right, then she come, Daddy, can I see your phone? And here you go. And I know you don't like that, but that's like a small thing. It's not really small, but it's a thing that you're okay with. It's not a big deal for us to be fighting about. But I think it's other situations, like if I was like, you don't like they spend the night at people's house, even if it's family, like it's just not happening. And I was just like, no, she can spend the night, and then I took over and let her and stayed and came back home. You would be pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's like a no-no. It's certain things that's like a no-no, and you just know it's not supposed to happen. And say if I did that and I just kept doing it because I believe, like, hey, my daughter's supposed to be spending the night. She's supposed to be doing this. She's supposed to be doing that. And you like, no, because for how you feel and for your comfort level, that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? And when you got two people just on the opposite sides of things that have this strong belief in things, it's just not going to work, because like you just said, like, I should be able to parent how I want to parent, and you should be able to parent how you want to parent. And if we can't see eye to eye and get to that common ground, then it's just not going to work. And I think people have to sit down before they have kids, before they get married, before they live with each other, and start saying, this is what I don't like, this is what I do like. And I think a lot of the little things never gets talked about. And then when you get married to someone, the shit come up and you be like, damn. And you 3 years in, and with this mortgage with this person, and you like, and you stuck now. So, I think like people really don't be knowing each other when they get married. A lot of people don't.
And to be fair, if you're not a parent, you probably wouldn't even consider that either. Like, like, I love this person, and like you said, it just comes up.
Exactly.
But it's easier to see, because I don't even see how you could be a parent and be with someone with different parenting styles than you. You know what I'm saying? Because it just won't work. They're gonna keep undermining you, or doing some things that you don't like. So I think it's definitely something we should start considering, like just dating and stuff, even without kids. So,
I'm happy you said that, Darren, because, I was thinking that a lot of our problem solving happens reactively. Like, I mean, there is nothing new under the sun. Like, I understand people make mistakes, right? But saying people make mistakes at this point in 2024 is just not.
With all this knowledge and all these discussions people are having, please, you can look up anything.
We've seen these things play out too many times. So it's like, this is kind of like a reactive problem solving type of conversation. But some people really will make some mistakes, but it's like it's happened too much. Women moving too fast, men moving too fast, not asking the right questions, not taking the time to get to know somebody, not really like having quality conversations, observing people properly. Like one show we talked about how to date. People don't know how to date. They don't know how to date. And so, they get into these situations where it's just it's a mess. And now we're asking questions. Well, how do we solve this problem when it's a problem that could have been avoided? Have y'all ever heard of the Camaro show? I think I'm saying it right. Camaro show.
Yeah,
I have.
And
Karamo.
What is it?
Yeah.
With a C, with a C, right?
What'd you say?
With a C, right?
Karamo.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
With a K?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
So he has a lot of young folks on his show, right? A lot of our people. Like every once in a while, I'll see somebody who's not Black, but most of the people that could go on the show are Black, right? And he kind of takes the role of like a therapist. I'm not sure if he really is a therapist or not, but a lot of people that come on that show, they are like, they get themselves in the craziest situations. Like, and it's like, it's not even red flags. It's like, come on, how are you in this situation where you have a whole baby with somebody? You knew they didn't have a job. You knew you didn't have a job. You knew y'all didn't know each other. Like, it's just so crazy that, people aren't really vetting each other before they're bringing kids into the world.
To be fair, people have no prerequisites.
You said, how do they get in that situation? You asked how?
I know how.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you how.
It's just,
We need to talk about
ready?
country.
No.
That's what we talk about.
what?
Number one, this is what people do. These are some common mistakes, because y'all know I be writing some stuff before we have our show. So hold on, let me put on my eyes here, because I like to ruminate over what we're gonna talk about. These are some common mistakes that Miss Jovo has seen that people make when they leave one situation and they get out and they go right into a new one. And that's the first one. You separate from baby mama, baby daddy. Next thing you know, not even a week or two, not even a day or two sometimes, especially in situations where the person has somebody else on the side, you already in somebody else's bed. Strike one. Number two, you high all the time. You're over medicating. You're drinking. Oh, I just went through a bad divorce. I need a drink. Oh, this is horrible. I need to be high. You're inebriated 23 out of 24 hours a day. That's the other strike. You're getting yourself into new and unnecessary new situations. Like people will get a divorce, get a new job, start learning about new parenting styles. Like when people say, I want to try soft parenting. And it's like, and they like, well, no, I haven't talked to the other parent about this. That right there. Watching the news and ruminating over anything that is similar to what you're going through and thinking, I need to do my divorce like this, or I need to do this, or I need to do my situation like this. And then guess what the last one is? Comparing your situation to other people's situations that they posted on social media. And I believe that them people go on their talk show, and I think Karamo himself, I think that he get a lot of his topics from social media, and he's like, okay, let's put these people, I see a trend of this, let's put these people on the show. Because just like you said, Ashley, if you watch his show, he has some people that really be in some really dark places, some really messed up situations. So I think that we're reactive, we are impulsive by human nature, and then we automatically just think that, oh my God, I done broke up with this person, we got kids together, now the worst is going to happen. We don't know like how we drive, like traffic lights and traffic signs to help us navigate the road. If we didn't, some of us have our foot on the gas the whole time, trying to put ourselves in harm and other people in harm. We got to stop and think before we do the next big thing. Like people think that, Oh, because I'm getting a divorce, I need to move on. Oh, well, he got a new girlfriend. We share kids. Let me hurry up and get somebody too. And then all the while, y'all sitting there, well, I don't know why Junior and little sister acting this way. They mama and daddy is impulsive. How you think they're gonna react? You set the tone for co-parenting on how you show up in your own life and how y'all communicate and deal with each other. So
I think people forget that these kids are not just going to be kids forever. These kids grow up into adults and they're going to mirror all the bullshit they saw y'all doing. Okay, regardless of how much you say, kids do what they see, not what they hear. Sometimes they do, but the reality is they're going to mimic your behaviors. So if you've been chasing after a man or you've been chasing after a woman, you've been beating down doors, I mean, what do you think your child going to emulate? Especially during their developmental years or, their formative years when they finally understand how social relationships are developed and whatnot. I mean, we grown, we sisters, but we grew up in the same house. Shoot. That's something that you have to curate. Curate or something. Whatever, you know what I mean.
So since me and my wife was the only ones who have been sowing oaks around this motherfucker, and we don't seeds in the world, I'm gonna ask you, babe, what's like what no that that you hated when with your son's father, like it was just like, oh, this is a boundary breaker right here, like he bogus. Do you have
What
one?
you mean?
Like a boundary that was crossed, or like a no for you?
I wasn't around him enough to be caught crossing no boundaries.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what he was doing in Wisconsin.
Don't ask me about no nigga you don't see me with, okay?
But real talk, I really do want to have another discussion about like what dating and courting needs to look like. Not that I know everything, of course not, but I just feel sad that I think a lot of young women, like,
I would love to talk about that.
Yeah, like they have no clue. I was watching an episode and I should have been asleep, but I was hooked, y'all. I watched an 1.5-hour episode of that show. Have y'all ever heard of like Pop the Balloon? Actually, it seems like it's something that people are
full of
like,
male.
a lot of people have their own rendition of it, and basically, like they line up contestants or singles, right? And they give them all a balloon, and different girl, like this show was men with the balloon, and then different girls came through, and the guys pop their balloon if they don't like the girl, right? And so, or if something happens where like she says something that is a red flag for them or anything, like they pop the balloon. And so on this particular episode, there was a young girl, like 20, 22, I think, who, and not, she wasn't the only one, like all of them were really just asking, except for one, was really just asking the dumbest questions. Not that they're, well, I won't say dumb, but they were questions like, well, what's your favorite color? And what's,
basic
like,
questions, like,
yeah, like,
yeah.
The only one that was actually asking like some useful questions was the older girl that was on the show. She was 35. But the young girls were not. And I think that it's because nobody taught them. I don't even think it has to do with age. Right. I think it has to do because nobody really taught them.
Nobody know my favorite color.
Yeah, and then it was just like, not saying that you should never ask that question, but I'm just like,
you shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't. I don't. That's just like when you be like, why is math needed in the world? Like all this algebra and trigonometry and stuff, we don't use it. Like me knowing my wife's favorite color don't mean nothing. We never talked about it ever. Like it don't mean nothing.
We should keep in context of like the venue and the setting, I guess. Because if we're popping balloons, let's keep it light. Let's keep it fresh. Let's keep it cute.
Yeah, I like light and like it could be light, but I think that those girls, and I don't know if that's how they're dating, like in their real life, like, and you're not finding out any information. You got to watch the show because it kind of you got to kind of get a feel for the people on the show. A lot of them, because they were so young, and this particular girl, she was just like, I don't know what I want. I don't know. Like,
Right.
she really just doesn't know. And I think that because
She need to keep
she doesn't
dating.
know, yeah, but I also think she needs somebody to guide her, because she will be the one that ends up in some crazy situations.
Well, not necessarily. If I'm thinking back to when I'm 21, did I really know what I wanted? Like, did I really? I know I had a boyfriend. You know, I know I was dating. I was still figuring it out. I was still figuring. See, this is the thing. We gotta, when people say I don't know, we need to learn how to eat that. And be like, okay, you don't know. And that's good. So is that something you desire to find out about yourself? Like, do you want direction? Because I think sometimes we assume that, we assume that young women want to be married, want to have kids.
But I don't even.
The reality of it is, some of these women don't even. They want sponsorship. They don't want no children. They want somebody to spend money on them, and they want to be popping their collar on social media and on Instagram and all this stuff. That right now, that's their reality.
I want to get them lace fronts paid for.
Yeah. I'm not saying she has to know whether or not she wants to be married or a relationship or anything like that, but she didn't know what she wanted in a man. And I'm not saying that she has to know all of that either. She doesn't. She's 22, right? So you won't know everything that you're looking for in a man, but you know
something.
Yeah, you got to have some type of direction. She's going to really need some guidance, because what's going to happen is she's going to be pulled in all these different directions. And if you watch the show, you'll see that, like, she's just looking for she has no aim.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're supposed to have some idea of what you want, even if that might change the next day. At that moment, you're supposed to have an idea of what you want to deal, what type of man or what type of woman you want to deal with. It might change a year from now, but it might be totally different. But at that moment, you're supposed to know, like, I don't want no dude that does this or does that or treats a woman like this. You know what I'm saying? That just means she, like you said, you're a little bit lost if you don't even know what you want right now. But no one's saying you have to be looking for your husband, like what you want in a husband, but what you want right now, even if it's just to date this person.
Yeah, exactly. They're not looking for character. They're just looking for attraction.
Yeah, at 22, come on now. You barely got character. You got
I'm just saying.
Come on now.
Exactly. They're just,
but you got to meet people where they are.
That's what a lot of younger women are doing. Like, they like, oh no, we have options, we have choices. Like, so marriage is not like on my mind right now.
But ain't that's what we talking about right now? About having these conversations?
It's
no age limit on having these conversations.
I thought they were popping a balloon. I thought they were popping a balloon to get to know people. That's what I thought.
So here's my thing.
Dating or something like that, where we sit down talking to each other, whatever, that's different. But you popped a balloon, like, who? It's so unserious. You got balloons.
Y'all missing a point.
Here's the thing, like, it's unserious, but like at the end of the show, this particular girl, she started to maybe they never called each other, who knows? But let's say they potentially did link up. I might play part of it, but basically the guy, he himself was real, just kind of like laissez-faire, just kind of like aimless, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they ended up together. The other guys could see that she was immature. They wanted her to be a little more mature, and everybody explains why they popped their balloon. And so this guy saw, but wait, let me finish. This guy saw that she's young, and I'm not saying she's wrong. What I'm saying is that guidance is important. That's why young girls need guidance, because a lot of times they really just don't know. And so, yeah, it's popping balloons and stuff. But my thought is she's going to hook up with him. They might have a relationship. They might get involved to some degree. And it's like, it could be a good experience, but it could be a bad experience.
Because if you ask her, like, why you dating this dude? She's like, I don't know. Like what? Like no, you're supposed to know why you around somebody. You're supposed to know why you let somebody in your space. You're supposed to know this.
She just wanted to link.
Huh?
She just wanted to link. A lot of kids.
But why? No. Why do you want to link though? It's a reason why you want to link.
Have sex. They're linking.
That's why. That's the reason. Okay, it's just as simple as that. Why do you like this person? Because I like to fuck. That's an easy question. That's an easy answer.
Relationships are not really relationships. They're situationships that have stretched on for a while.
Yeah, we not saying it has to be this deep feeling for this person. We just saying, why is this person in your life? Is it for money? Is it for to have sex? Is it for companionship? Is it for any type of advice or whatever? But you're supposed to know why everybody is in your life because you got them. So if it's just for sex, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But still, you as an adult, a 22-year-old, you're supposed to know this. And if you don't know this, then I would think the women around her are supposed to, like as you say, guide her, have a talk with her, be like, while you out here doing XYZ, know that some people are for seasons and some people are forever, because you can get caught up with just having this little sneaky link or just fucking, and then you're pregnant, and then now you so you need to have these conversations, and it's never an age limit on serious conversations. Like, yeah, she's 22, but still
contraceptives. Because getting pregnant not mean you gotta have a baby, okay? You zoom into the camera just because you get pregnant, okay? Don't mean. But I'm serious. Contraceptives need to be a topic of discussion.
It do, and I think too. We I think also we got to meet people where they are. Like, 21 and 22-year-olds. I when I have conversations with this, I that's like literally the population that I work with. Like, when we have these conversations, it's less about what I feel morally that worked for me. I don't want to all I can do is tell you what worked for me and tell you the cost and benefits of it. At the end of the day, they got to have that. It's a difference between guidance and then expecting people to be you in situations. That's all I'm saying. It's a thin line. So you can guide them and say, hey, this is what worked for me. They may still do something different. That doesn't mean they ain't gonna get it right eventually. Because that same girl at 22, let's follow her again at 3 years from now when she's 25, when her brain is fully developed and she's had some more life experiences. She's probably gonna have something different to say about, other than what's your favorite color, and do you prefer this over that? Like,
but what I'm saying
sometimes
is,
you got to give people time. That's what growth is. Growth is
time. But you still have to be self-aware at the same time, even if it's simple. Everybody's not deep, and like you said, everybody's not at the same page in life at the same time. So even at 22, your answer, like you said, it might not be the same answer at 24, but at least have an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
She had an answer.
All I'm saying
what's your color?
She didn't know. If you ask me what's 2 plus 2, and I say I don't know, that ain't no answer.
It ain't the answer you looking for. It's an answer though. It ain't the answer you desired or wanted, but it's an answer. It's just not something you expect.
The answer is she just don't want to say the answer because she feels like it's not a good answer. Because just like Raven Sister said, maybe she just wants to fuck. And most
maybe she really want to know what his favorite color is. Maybe she just want to know what his favorite color is. Maybe that.
Okay, that's cool.
Because if she didn't want to know, why was she asking in the first place?
You know why she asked. You know why? Because she thinks that some people move through the motions of things. I
want to see evidence. Where's it?
Right. Let me play parts of it, and then we can revisit.
Block her face out, because y'all don't want y'all to do my girl like that.
Oh, no.
Oh, right over here. Hey. Welcome. If I can have your name.
Kayla.
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
22.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do?
I do real estate, and I'm a property manager.
Property management. Okay. All right. And now, what do you look for in a guy?
I don't know. They all look good. They all look good. I don't know.
Okay. So what about height? What
Oh, you gotta be taller than me with heels on.
Okay.
So, cause I'm 5'8".
Okay.
So,
And with
yeah.
heels, you're probably like 5'10".
5'9",
5'11".
5'10".
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And so what do you like to do for fun?
So I model on the side
Okay.
too. I also got 2 properties out here that I use for Airbnb. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a I do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And then I got 2 dogs. So if you're not a dog lover, just go ahead and pop it now. Okay.
Oh, nobody's popping. Nobody is popping. Okay.
You don't
Okay.
like dogs? Oh,
All right. Let's go ahead and see why they pop their balloons then.
Okay.
Come on. Let's go with the one that popped first. All right. If you just stand right next to me.
sorry.
Okay. If you don't want to just let her know your name, how old you are, and why you popped your balloon.
Hello, I'm Renard. I'm 27. You are really cute, and I like your personality. But the dogs, I actually like dogs, but I like to travel, and we're gonna have to get dog babysitters or something.
You don't gotta worry about that though.
We
If
really
that's
do
what
though.
if
We
that's
kind
what
of
you
do
want
have to
to
worry
pop your
about.
balloon for, that's on you, sweetheart.
Yeah, it is on me, and
That's on you.
that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, you're gorgeous.
Thank
I
you.
like your personality, but the dogs thing, I like dogs, but that's an issue
You
for me.
messing up.
Okay. So it was just the dogs, nothing else.
It is if I'm gonna listen to. She said it's not a problem. So if it's not a problem, which I don't know, we'll see. Then maybe I'll take a balloon.
Nigga, your balloon popped already. Nigga, it's over with.
Oh yeah, of course. And I'm actually liking more about her, just her voice and the way she's
girl.
interacting with y'all more than.
Okay,
actually
let's
the
keep
looks
watching
too,
though.
which is actually
Yeah.
a
Oh,
plus.
you're so sweet.
Yeah,
And now, so is he your type?
Yeah, I mean, I don't discriminate. I like black men, so I don't care what color you is, light skin, dark skin. I like black men.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have preferences like
Mm-mm.
beard,
No,
hairstyle.
no.
Okay.
I like it all.
So you're more of like a personality
Yeah,
person.
I
I
am.
see. Okay. All right. Well, let's go to our next guy here. Let's see what's going on. And if you can let her know your name, how old you are, and why you popped your balloon.
Jivens, I'm 24 years old, and I popped my balloon because I know her. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
She's
Let
very
me
beautiful.
fast forward a little bit.
Anything in particular that is like a red flag for you where you're like, no, that's a
If you're
definite
not
no.
Miss David, I'm 30 years old, and the reason I popped my balloon because as soon as she walked in, you look gorgeous, you look
Thank you.
beautiful. However, she asked you a very important question. She asked you, "What are you looking for?" And you said, "I don't know."
I don't know what I'm looking for.
That's the reason why I said no.
Okay.
He's mad because he can't emulate what she's supposed to be looking for.
Me too.
I'll
Okay.
be 23 in March.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let me
I'm
say part of this.
trying to do the most to pull to get the 8.5. So, but I got, and I
What you do for work? I'm sorry.
I was making fun of the other girl saying her hair looks like Anita Baker, but I love Anita Baker. What else?
She just asked him what type of music.
Listen to hip hop, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how old are you again?
31.
31. And you don't mind my age?
Your age is definitely something that is concerning,
Mhm.
but you have a really nice accent. So
My accent is the reason why.
one of the reasons why. Yeah,
Okay.
one of the reasons
Okay,
why.
okay.
Do you want to know the other reasons?
I do, because I mean, I'm low key kind of.
I mean, you're attractive.
I'm
You're
drifting
attractive.
your way a little
You're
bit.
attractive. You have a nice face. You have a nice body. You seem to dress pretty well. I like your tattoos as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you seem ambitious, and that is commendable.
Mm. Can I ask you what you do for work? I'm sorry.
I'm a creative producer.
So you do like video?
Yeah, I do documentary film, narrative film, commercial video.
What you do for work? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you.
I'm
Electrician.
yeah,
You was the one that was on the last show, huh?
yeah.
Ah.
Look at you.
Ah.
But you a fan or you ain't like me? How you
I
felt
don't
about
know.
it?
You give me. I'm really leaning towards him right now because he looking a little.
The ball is in your court.
Am I allowed to like go a little bit rated R?
What? It's up to you. Whatever you want. Go ahead and ask him. Go ahead and ask him.
Okay, please don't think I'm immature for asking. I just really want to know how big.
I'm a little freak, so I had the chip measurement. So it was like 8, but I was like trying to do the most to pull to get the 8.5. So, but I got 8, and I'll show it to you. I'll show it.
Oh,
Oh, man.
okay. 8 inches. That's a little too big for me. What you?
So I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm like a little bit under 7.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna stop it right there. So basically, they end up hooking up together.
I stand on my diagnosis.
What do y'all think?
He wanted the eggplant. Okay. She is not asking about their issues and how they grew up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all know me. I'm a little old school, okay? Like, I'm a little old school. I know everybody's different. But I just think sometimes women, like, they put themselves through too much, like that, and I think everyone.
But to me, she didn't strike me as the type that'd be getting put through much. She seemed like she knew exactly what she's doing.
I don't know.
But see, hold on. The thing is this: she does know what she wants. She just didn't want to say it when she was
exactly. She seemed like she knows exactly what she's doing.
What are you looking for in a man? I want a man who know how to fuck. That's what I'm in right now. I just want to go out and fuck. That's what she wants, and that's her answer. So she could have just said that, but like I said, women are not just going to come out and say that when they ask these questions, because it's not the womanly thing to do and say. So,
but then here's my thing: if you're getting into a so-called relationship based off of those things, why are you in a relationship anyway?
I don't think she getting into a relationship. Right? It didn't seem like she was looking for.
A relationship.
I don't think she looking for one.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like
relationship. That's it.
Like that's what I'm saying. We gotta. Ashley, I get it, because look, I grew up in the house with elderly people. I get it. Yeah. I get it. Your mind automatically goes to, oh, this is this is how I've been taught and what I've been learned. But what I've learned. Some of these girls at that age, they ain't talking about relationships. They ain't trying to live with you.
But that's the problem. So, but that's what I'm saying.
But why is that a problem? That's what I'm saying. Why is that a problem?
That's why we have so many 35-year-old plus, 30 plus women who do have babies with men that they cannot marry or who don't want to marry.
I don't think that them the women though.
Let me finish. They have a lot of emotional baggage. I think a lot of women think they can just have sex and do all of these different things with multiple men and there not be any emotional consequences. And I think that there are, and not just emotional, mental consequences, because now you have all these different experiences with different men who are all different with their own issues, their own problems. And to me, that shapes your thinking. Like, we see it every day, but people don't identify why. Like, you have so many women, older women, who thought like she did, and now they're like, well, all men are this, or all men are that, or men only want sex. And it's like, but what have you been doing? You've been offering yourself in just a sexual way, and you haven't for anything else.
I understand what you're saying, and I think that there's a segment that takes place. I just think that particular little snippet that we saw wasn't an example of it. Okay. That's all I'm saying, right? Because I do think that there are women who, but I think those women do have sex as a way to get into relationships, or have sex with everyone that they consider themselves in a relationship with, right? Or they just out here doing it. But like I say, she seems to have her head on her shoulders. She got her little business. She got a job. She know what she's doing. She's just, I would have to assume maybe she protecting herself. Maybe she on birth control, doing all those things she needs to do to make sure she don't have no kids and do whatever. And just at this moment, at 22 years old, she just trying to have, she here for, not a good time, not a long time, period, right?
And the thing is, that's what men do. So, when we see a woman doing the same thing that men do,
they think they stay with a lollygag in the street, slang a ding-a-ling. I think not. The cat is on the prowl, okay?
And I think
nowadays these women is giving y'all a run for y'all money. They have a roster. They was who they messing with. Look, we don't know. You getting
it was just like what you were saying about like dealing with their different problems and stuff. Like she don't strike me. She ain't dealing with nobody problems. She don't strike me as the type that's dealing with nobody problems.
Now the consequences.
I'm not saying dealing with problems in terms of he's cheating or he's doing this or
no, I don't even mean like that. I mean she don't care. Yeah, she's not emotionally connecting to him. She don't care.
I don't know. I think the people you allow in your life, especially in an intimate way, they impact you. Like even with y'all, like we have this podcast together. We impact each other in some way. So
we ain't fucking though.
That's even worse. Like I don't know.
Oh my Lord.
We set the record straight.
I think that we got to stop looking at the early 20s population and seeing what they're doing in their early 20s. Oh my God, they're going to ruin their life if they don't. I rewind back to me being in college. I rewind back to me being young and not knowing what I know now. I'm all right. I'm okay. Like we got to stop thinking that all these young people not going to get it together.
Ms. Jovo.
See, I'm going to say this.
You only had sex with one man, Ms. Jovo. So you only had sex with one man, Ms. Jovo. You can't even.
But hold on.
You ain't had no roster.
Hold on. But wait.
Jovo.
You was like a tennis team. That's one person.
But listen,
she got a football team. 53 people on a team.
For a reason. A lot of these younger ones, they don't want us to guide them because we don't know how to meet them where they are. We don't. Because that same girl, I could tell her my story, right? And she gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Like, so you been with the same man for how long? What can you tell me about dating and relationship? And I'm not gonna be offended because I can't tell her what she's desiring to hear in terms of what it's like dating multiple people and stuff like that. But what I'm not gonna do is counsel her out and say that, oh my God, you're so misguided. She is where she's exactly supposed to be in this moment in time. Could she use a little bit more advice on, if she wanted to get to know some of these guys? If that was the case, could she use a little bit more guidance and advice? Yes. But in terms of just,
you have a teenage daughter that's going to be dating. You have a teenage daughter that's going to be dating soon, right? Mm-hmm. What would you say to her? Like,
well, we already talking about it.
Situation, but if she was identifying with this young woman, like, what would be your advice?
My advice that I do give my own daughter is remember your morals and remember what we taught. But in the event that you decide to go against it, I'm not gonna sit here and think that don't ever think I'm gonna give up on you and say, oh my God, your life falling apart. We gotta be careful how we speak.
Yeah, nobody said her life is falling apart. Nobody said that. Her life
but sometimes our verbiage, we gotta meet people where they are so they can open the door and let the guidance come.
What would you tell the 22-year-old that we just saw?
What would I tell her?
Yeah.
Like what would I tell her?
I'm trying to figure out. Really, I want to
wrap it up.
I want to ask her. I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her to use birth control. I'm gonna tell her to use some type of contraceptive. I am going to tell her that.
Would you tell your daughter? Well, would you tell your daughter that if she identified with that girl, she's like, I don't really know what I want. I do want to know how. I want to know how he packing because I'm interested in sex. What would you tell her?
Well, we came to the conclusion that she really didn't know what she wants.
Okay, she wants it. She knows what she wants.
I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna tell her just how I instruct her now. There are costs and benefits to certain behaviors. Mama gonna share with you what has been the benefit of me just only knowing your dad. This is how this has benefited me. That's what I'm gonna do.
Life's different.
But hold on. But I'm also gonna tell her what happened to cost with me just knowing one person. And then I'm going to say, okay, these are some potential costs and benefits that you can come across if you demonstrate this type of behavior. See, Dr. Phil says when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. And see, the thing is, if you're not prepared to deal with those consequences, be very careful about what you're going to sign up for. That's what I would tell her. But ultimately, the choice is going to be with her. It's gonna be with her. And then if she say, "Mama, you know what? I went over here to this side. I think I done messed up." And Mama gonna open the door and say, "It ain't too late. It ain't too late.
Of course.
It ain't too late."
Why is it that we don't say that same thing when it's women that are not our daughters? Because before it was like, no, she's just having fun. She's 22. You know, when
I'm gonna tell you,
I'm gonna tell my daughters forever to stay away from these little dusty boys, but she ain't gonna listen. So
She
I'm gonna
is
be like,
gonna listen.
I'm gonna be like, stay away from these dusty boys. They
She
all
gonna
dusty.
listen to me.
All of them dusty.
I'm beyond that point. She ain't gonna stay away from them. So now I got to be like, okay, you ain't staying away from them.
I'm gonna make sure they stay away from her.
With you what my experience is.
And then all the girls, think about all the women who have gotten on OnlyFans. Like, come on, we're in a new age. Like, everybody genitals is going to be on the internet pretty soon, or have been. I mean, seriously, like, regular girls sign up for OnlyFans, you know, getting subscriptions and stuff. Like, so we can't count them out. Yeah, they might grow out of that. I've seen
because that's what people are doing. Are we saying we gonna just allow this for our daughters? Is that what we saying?
I mean, so when these daughters get a certain age, when these daughters get a certain age, it don't become a matter of are we gonna allow it? They gonna do it.
Okay,
your position is, how do I show them as a parent when this happens?
Before they get to the age where they're making their own decisions, we have the opportunity to teach them and prepare them and guide them. So are we saying, because it's 2024 and everybody's doing this, that we're not going to try to steer them differently?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
not talk to you at all. Would you rather that? Because if you don't necessarily have to say, "Oh yeah, girl, I'm gonna get down there and take the pictures too." But you can't say, "Hey, I don't agree with this. I'm not talking to you till you do this." Every time
nobody said that.
I don't agree.
Kids, nobody
push you away. Of course, we want the best for our kids and everything like that. But realistically, they're gonna do what they want to do because they're their own person. They're not extensions of us. Like, we can't control them. So they're going to do stuff that maybe we like, all I can do is support you while you get out of that. You know, if you get out of that phase, it might be some backlash to that, you know, but all I can do is say, hey, this is what you signed up for. You know, it was going to be a possibility. It was going to pop back up when you're looking for a different job. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so being realistic, like Miss Jovo said, the pros and cons to everything, that's all you can do. They're still going to do what they want.
Well, back to the original point.
How much money does your child have to make on OnlyFans for you to let it slide? Like, if they buy you a vacation house, are you okay with it? This is round table.
The Catch Me Outside girl, what she made $1 million the first day?
She bought everybody a house. So
then she ended up on Dr. Phil, and it was and again, and then it wasn't pretty. Like, I guess for me, what I'm trying to say is we can provide guidance, but let's let them open the door so they can hear what we have to say. Because if I'm coming in with a judgmental tone, okay, and we know what judgmental tone may look like when we show up and we're giving guidance and support, then I'm not gonna want guidance and support from you. Like, y'all, I love my grandma. Y'all done heard me talk about my grandma on this show before. I love her. Shout out to Doris. Hey, grandma. But when I was like 17, 18, I didn't talk to my grandma. I didn't tell my grandma nothing. She gave me so many morals, and I'm probably married to the same person I've been married to right now because I followed her advice. But when it came to dating, questions I had about sex, y'all think I'm gonna ask my grandma that? No, I want something different for my daughter, and I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna get that if I lead in the conversation talking about, man, y'all young girls, y'all. The minute they hear something like that, they done shut you off anyway. Whatever you got to say after that, they ain't listening.
I'm trying to figure out at what point I'm talking to you all. Like, because I have mentored young girls. And I always go to them.
Ashley, you know you disappear, right?
I don't know.
He's talking to a brick wall.
You have her behind the wall. You have her behind the wall because she's trying to
Ashley talking to you like talking to a brick wall, girl.
We have to find a wall of chastity.
So we got to
The
stop.
wall
We got to
of
stop
chastity. I
acting.
love it.
There you go. You back there. There you go.
That happened last time. So I guess it sounds like I'm being judgmental. I'm talking to you all. Obviously, if you're talking to a younger woman or boy, whatever, younger man, whatever, there's a way that you talk to them.
It is.
Of course. You can't come across as being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is that the younger girls and boys, but I'm going to speak on young girls because I know about womanhood. Like, you know what I mean? And my heart goes out to the women because women are the ones who are bearing the brunt of these bad choices, right? And so I'm just thinking about the need for guidance. Like, I wouldn't go to any young girl. I have never done that. And there are several girls that call on me because they know that I'm going to come to them with love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's been the case for many years. Like, younger women have come to me because they know that I'm not going to judge them, but I'm also going to be honest with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we take the mindset, oh, they're young, this is just what they do, as opposed to being real and saying, look, let's think about why you want to do what you want to do, one, and two, what could be
because it feels good.
What could be the consequences or the different things or different ways that this plays out. And like, I'm not even gonna talk about that girl because I agree with y'all. She's probably looking for a good time, right? But who's gonna be the one to tell the young girls, like, if you do want something a little bit more serious, this is what you look for. This is how you vet a man. And then, like, this is how you can't tell anybody how to live their lives. But like you said, Jovo, you got to be honest about the consequences of having sex with and just having fun with multiple men throughout your young adult life. Like, there are consequences to that. And I think we can't like, oh, it's young, it's 2024, we got OnlyFans. Like, where's the guidance? Like,
this is the only reason why I looked at that the way that I did that particular instance, right? As an example, like I said, I know, like, and what you're explaining does exist, right? Where is young women and young men who lack guidance, they just out here doing any old thing, you know what I'm saying, throwing everything at the wall to kind of see what stick, maybe looking for love in all the wrong places, maybe trying to fill a void, man, a lot of things, right? So that exists. The only reason why I was saying in this example, and we don't know this girl from a can of paint, right? But just from her talking and her demeanor and the way it seemed like to me, she just reminded me of a different type of girl that I grew up with. Like I said, that now their stuff is all the way together. They done got married, all types of stuff. What I'm saying is it's some people that are so self-assured and self-aware in themselves, and they just like, this is what I'm gonna do right now. And then when I'm done, this what, and they do have a plan, right? And they do protect themselves, and they do. It seemed like they all just all willy-nilly, but they aren't necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know people, like they have a real good gauge for people, you know, and stuff like that. So that's kind of with her confidence and the way she was speaking and stuff. That's what I took from. But again, I don't know. But that's why I said that struck me as that I wouldn't look at it and necessarily be like, she going down the wrong. She gonna be messed up.
She on it.
Like I say, there are certain other times. I do agree that there's a thread of that, right? But her, I think she gonna be fine. You know what I mean?
This pressure is put on Black women because, you know,
they didn't have no babies early. They didn't have that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like, they was out here, like, they just knew, like, this is what I'm doing in this moment. You're not taking up too much of my time. You're not taking up too much of my space. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here playing this thing, and this is what I'm doing. Then when I get established and get all of that, okay, now I'm ready to do X, Y, Z, and it's fine.
So the thing is this. Because
women, and I feel like it's not applied. We've had the conversation before, of course, about the white girls on girls gone wild, but I don't feel like all this pressure is applied.
I feel the same way about them. Like,
well, I'm saying,
I'm gonna judge her. If y'all ain't gonna judge, I'm gonna judge her. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. We all judge people. Y'all trying to act like y'all don't judge nobody. That's what this world is about. We judge people.
I said if you show up judging, I ain't saying we ain't judge folks. I said
what I'm gonna tell
you
about her
in the conversation.
Right now, she in her whole phase, and that's cool.
Why do you all think that? And why do you all think that a lot of these people who are in this age group, a lot of these churches empty, a lot of these mentor programs that used to be filled up, they're not as full anymore
because they can't handle the truth.
Exactly. Well, not even that. Not even that. It's not even that. They might not be able to handle the truth, but just like I tell everybody all the time, different generations, you can't use the same equation all the time. Like, we need to stop approaching this like math. Like for real. Like math is like universal.
Different equations,
and math ain't gonna change.
Right.
We gotta take a different approach with some of these people. And when I say that, that's not me canceling out, not giving them a sense of awareness about the realities of life. The other thing we need to accept is, for some of these folks, it's gonna take life to teach them. We can guide them, but it's gonna take life to teach them.
Is she in her whole
when
phase?
I say that, I'm not saying cut off the guidance. What I'm saying is, provide what you provide in terms of guidance, and then just leave it alone. Like I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like Canon, and Canon, I was here when you were saying that, because I grew up with somebody like that. Like, if you could think of someone, what's the character I'm thinking of? Of Living Single, Sinclair. Everybody thought Sinclair was goofy. Sinclair didn't have her head on right, like she just here and there. By the end of the show, Sinclair was a successful actress. Sinclair got her a man. They got an apartment. The one that they thought was the goofiest one, really, she knew what she wanted to do, and she did it. So we gotta stop. We gotta stop with the assumptions that these young people, like,
the one with the Overton, the one with the Overton.
Well, let me answer Jody's question. So Jody had a question. She says, Ashley, how have your views, values, and order of operations been successful in your life's decisions? I hear what you are saying, but what are the success stories of your way? So I have heard this before. So for me personally, I am happy with the way I've lived my life when it comes to dating and dealing with men and all of that, because I have spared myself from what I have seen a lot of women go through. The bitterness, the hurt, the angry, being angry, being disappointed,
the loneliness.
You know, just we sit here acting like women, you know, maybe times are changing a little bit, but women continue to go through a whole lot because they connect themselves emotionally with men and spiritually with men, and sometimes men that they shouldn't be with. And I feel like my values and my views and my order of operations, as you call them, have spared me from that. Now, some women feel like, well, you're not married, so it must have didn't work. But my goal was not just to be married. My goal was to live a life that I believe was pleasing to God. I'm a Christian woman. So that was my number one goal. And my second goal was to live a life free of that type of emotional and spiritual baggage, because that's what it is. That's why we got a lot of mad women today, because nobody guided them. So that's my success story. That might not be good for you though, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But I know, one second, almost done. I feel like now I'm at a place where I can be who I need to be for the type of man that I want, because I don't have all this baggage. Go ahead, Darn.
Don't mind them, Ashley. They listen here. I'm about to tell you what happened. I'm about to tell you just what happened. When they saw that girl, all of their asses just tapped into their inner hope phase. And they trying to live through her, right? So they like, yeah, no, she just doing it. She just doing that. No, you definitely right, because guess what? The way she was acting,
inner hole.
Yeah. Y'all, everybody got inner hole in them. So we're not gonna act like y'all. Yeah, we don't.
Wait, are you talking about? Were you talking about us?
What? Yeah, y'all inner hole turned on. Y'all inner hole turned on, and y'all was like, yeah, you know.
Point of view, I gotta speak from a younger point of view. Like y'all, Canon and Miss Jovo said, it is women out there, and it is a lot of them, especially now, who are more career minded or whatever focus besides men. You know what I'm saying? That it's like we've seen how these people have met their downfall dealing with men. I got needs, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it is nothing wrong with that. They choose to say, I'm ready to be in a relationship with someone. I'm ready to have this sort of connection, and they understand that it takes time, effort, energy to nurture that, which is why they're saying, hey, I don't even want to deal with all that right now. But this thing
7 inches.
So do you think it is smart for a woman to go around date men just off physical attraction and asking them if they got a big dick or not? And that's the reason. Do you think no, seriously, do you think
we're talking about her intentions? Is she going on this to find a husband?
Hey,
no, she
don't. Okay, she don't have to find a husband. But when she's with these men that
and then
when she's with these men that don't have her best interest at heart, she's in a dangerous place and situation. We're not gonna act like that don't exist just because she wants to have fun. Yeah, and fun can lead her into some very risky situations, and that's what all I'm saying. She's risking herself by dating like that, and it is a risk. Just because you're having fun, you cannot just be like, oh, just be so free and simple-minded that you like, I'm 22, I'm supposed. No, so I get what Ashley is saying. It's a risk when you're dating like that, because there's a risk when like that. You get kids, and whether you especially for women.
Do we because I understand that we have access to all of the same information? We see this, we're taught from when do they start the sex ed classes? 6th grade, something like that. So very understanding of the risk. I think it is.
You talking about STD risk, or
to think that a 22-year-old who, let's be real, some of these celebrities and stuff is moving around like that at 16, 15 and stuff like that. So it is people out here, yes, that's moving around like that, even younger.
You talking about celebrities that's not in the same corrupted hoods that we have to live in? You talking about the same? You talking about those celebrities?
Getting into no Illuminati conspiracy stuff.
No, I ain't talking about no Illuminati. I'm talking about celebrities that get to party.
I'm just saying the difference. I'm just saying that it exists out there, and it is people who, just like it's mature kids and stuff like that, who really can travel by themselves and stuff like that. And it's some who you got to watch them walk across the street, make sure they get their safe. You know what I'm saying? So it is not everybody who needs guidance and everything like that. And I think it's unfair to say that she falls under that when look at how she presents herself. You know what I'm saying? She don't really want to come off as a hoe. So she's not trying to ask these questions out front because she know how that can lead to. If you're too forward, then everybody gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm about to blah, blah, blah.
I wouldn't care if she did ask the question. She is still setting herself up for risk. These men are on a show. These are vultures. These are vultures.
We know.
Dude ain't even pop his balloon till another dude popped his balloon. He ain't even have no reason. He just was like, they on this show.
Darwin, people buy lotto tickets wanting to win, but they don't always expect to win. But you don't get what you want if you don't play the game. And I think there are a lot of young women out there, they willing to take the risk. They willing to take the risk.
As long as we know it is a risk. As long as we know this.
It's a risk. Yes, it's a risk. My thing is it's a risk to everything. You could literally, like I said,
but you want to lower your risk.
I understand mitigating the risk. I get it. My point is you could close yourself off to relationships and you could never, ever, ever meet your person and die never having, that monkey put to work. What is the benefit to that? Okay. I can't find one yet. My point is
this is the question that's gonna let me know something. If y'all was out as adults and you out with your daughter, she's 22, y'all at a lounge, a club, whatever the case may be. Hold on, time out. You would never what? I ain't even finished saying what I had to say. So what you would never what?
Baby, run it back. We at church.
Better, probably not. You need to use another example.
Hold on. So y'all hold on. So when your daughter gets 22 and she has a birthday party, You ain't gonna go to her birthday party at the club or lounge?
No, we gonna go. We gonna do. First of all,
Okay, all right, whatever. Y'all, hold on. Time out. This is Atlanta. So y'all out to brunch. You and your daughter, you and your 22-year-old daughter out to brunch. A young man comes and sits at the bar next to her, and they having a conversation. And you hear your daughter ask him, "How big is your dick?" And she says all the things that this little girl, that this girl is into. He just wants to, hey, time out. And I just want to have some fun. What you doing later on tonight? Are you gonna interrupt that conversation, or you just like, yeah, go have fun, boo. Have fun, boo.
If you heard Devion having a conversation like that, if you heard Devion having a conversation like that with a young lady, would you interrupt that conversation? If you heard Devion having a conversation like that at 22 with a young lady, would you interrupt that conversation?
Oh, look at that face. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm not about to sit up here and lie though. But hey, I'm not gonna lie though. But guess what? We ain't talking about talking about all that. We talking about.
Why are you gonna preach guidance to your daughter and not to your son?
What? Because my son ain't about to be asking. First of all, the conversation is gonna be totally different. Anyway.
No,
it's gonna be totally different anyway. So my son. So what you say? My son gonna say what? What he gonna say to the woman?
Wait,
what he gonna say to the woman? How much the coochie is? Like what you talking about right now?
This what he want to say, and I quote people from that other group. Men and women are different. They different. Y'all can't be out here doing what the men do.
So
can't be doing what
you can't do. Because it's a different risk. It's a different risk for men and women.
Let me tell you something, Darwin. Darwin, I'm gonna tell you something. You ain't gonna want to hear it.
But
I can't hear it because y'all ain't gonna make no sense for what y'all about to say.
If
y'all don't think it's different from a man and a woman when you date, then that, okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. You ain't gonna want to hear it. You're not gonna want to hear it. What I absolutely
ain't no men asking a woman to walk them to the car when they leave, but a woman go ask a man to walk them to the car because it's a different risk for women and men. So we're not gonna act like it ain't different.
That don't have nothing to do with it being okay for him to have a sexual conversation.
It is okay because guess what? A man is more protected.
Girlfriend to walk them to the car too. Oh my
God. I think Darwin's taking it from the angle of she has to be careful. A woman has to be careful with who she opens the door to because men, they do violent things to women. I think that's what is that what you're saying? You guys
exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all acting like y'all going around.
So the man that offered to walk me to my car is my likelihood assaulter. Like, what are you talking about?
How many men are being found in garbage cans because they said no to a woman? But how many women are getting found in garbage cans because they said no to a man? So we have to play this. I'm gonna tell my.
Do you see the dichotomy? But part of that problem is because you're telling your son that he different from girls, so he can act all of this kind of way.
No,
he can act off.
He is different.
He
is different.
But
you know what?
And that's why girls get found in garbage cans because you're telling these boys that they different, and she's turning you down. What you think she is?
So since I'm telling my son he's different, that means I'm telling him to go and beat up girls if they say no.
No, I'm not saying.
Like I said, the conversation will be different, but it will be productive.
But it's raising boys with a sense of entitlement because they're boys, and boys will be boys, and they can just do whatever.
And he can talk nasty in front of his daddy because he's a
right.
boy.
It don't matter.
He can sit up here and talk about his 70 inches because he's a boy.
You know what? I was just saying this.
My son. Yeah.
I would just say this when we talk about guidance and moral code. One of the things that, if you will, sold me on the Bible growing up, I liked all the parts in the Bible where Jesus used to hang out with the street folks. See, they don't like to preach that no more. See, Jesus used to hang out with the common folks, the folks that made mistakes and got messy. So in my thinking, when I think about my moral and spiritual code that guides me, like my favorite scripture in the Bible is Proverbs 31. And what satisfies me about that scripture is that I know that woman that they're describing, she wasn't always that woman. We focus so much on goals that we lose the value of the journey trying to get to where we need to be. There is learning lessons and value in trying to get to where we need to be. What I'm saying to you is this young woman's journey, she gonna get so many lessons if she decides to get into a long-term relationship. She's gonna get so many lessons along the way. Now I understand what y'all are saying, because I think, Darwin, as you as a man, you're a guy, and you have daughters. Obviously, you're gonna go the protective route, because I mean, you're a man, you're a leader, you know, what have you. You don't want anything bad to happen. But it's kind of like when my daughter was learning how to ride a bicycle. I didn't want that bad to happen to her. But then I had to realize that she probably gonna fall while she learning to ride this bicycle. And I get what y'all saying. Y'all don't want this young lady to fall so far that if one of her goals is to get married one day or have a family, you don't want to fall so far with that won't happen. And I
it's
get
not
that.
even about just getting married though.
No, but I'm saying whatever her goals are, Ashley, we want the best for her. I hear what you're saying. We need to support these young women in terms of them wanting the best for their own lives and us being like a beacon of light. I get that part. But we also cannot forget that there is value in the journey. There's value in the journey. And because it's unknown to us, and because we don't see what she might experience, we automatically cancel it out sometimes. And I had to reteach myself in that as well. Like, everybody ain't gonna show up like how they need to be put together in certain situations. Like I tell people all the time, when I got married, I was nowhere near the wife that I needed to be. All I knew, I was in love, and that we were gonna be together forever. I had to learn how to be a wife. I had to learn that, and I was blessed to have somebody who had the patience.
So first thing we gotta admit that this young woman right now at 22 years old, she's in her hoe phase. And when you're in your hoe phase, you're going to get treated as such. So the way that she was talking to men, they're going to treat her like
who can determine she in a hoe phase?
She's in a hoe phase. If your conversation, how big your
exactly, how much makes it a whole phase?
She gets started on what's the whole phase?
Hey, and what if they even have sex? Is she already a hoe?
But here's the thing, regardless of what
she's in her whole phase, meaning that she's out living her best life. She's going to be sleeping with different men. This and that. I'm not saying the first thing I said, y'all start bringing up OnlyFans. If you're on OnlyFans doing all this stuff, you in your whole phase. We ain't about to sit up and act like we delusional about what a whole phase means. Stop all this. Is she really fucking them all? Or she asking niggas how big their dinglings is, and then
not doing that.
I mean, come on now, y'all. Y'all gotta be honest.
When she gets
okay, she ain't in the whole phase. She's a respectable young pillar of the community.
I didn't say she went in the whole phase. I said right there. Just because she chooses to do this at this moment does not discount her as a person, as a respectable woman. None of that thing.
Okay, listen. We gotta be real though. Let's be real. We don't have to use the term hoe. We don't have to use
We don't even active with these guys.
I'm using the word whore.
Okay, listen. But here's my thing. Regardless of what anybody calls her, the consequences are the same.
Yes.
She is going to have a string of men that she engages with sexually. Okay? With that, but listen, everybody agreed. Everybody agreed that she was just looking for sex.
That's what we said.
If she's okay with having sex and hooking up with a man that she knows nothing about besides his height and his penis size, it's safe to say that she will likely engage with sex with other men in the same way. I think we all agree that that's what she's looking
whole
for.
phase.
So I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you call it. It's the consequences are the same. And
okay, she being a player.
Prioritizing their sexual pleasure.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Sexual pleasure.
That's what I'm saying.
You word it like that if you want to.
She didn't say I'm sleeping with any. She didn't say I'm sleeping with everybody up here. She had criteria.
She said all of them look attractive. She didn't even get no taste. She liked them all. She liked them all.
Oh my God, that's an assumption.
There ain't assumption. She got up there and she said, what she say? Oh, what do you look enough, man? I don't know, but they all look good. Man, that's what she said.
That's
Okay,
kind of
so
polite.
she still had to choose through. And let's be real.
And she still had two dudes that look totally different.
Good.
One was tall, one was here, one had dreads, the other had a short haircut. The other one, she said she liked it. He was light skinned.
He was just being nice. The dude that was 24.
Okay, well, they just gonna be nice too and give her that 8 inch and that 7.5 inch.
Nice. She was being nice.
So let me ask you this.
She can be nice.
Let me ask the sisters this.
She be nice.
Let's say she hooks up with that one guy that she leaves.
Which one guy? Because I didn't see anything.
Okay, let me ask.
The one she
She
actually
hooks up with that one guy, right? She doesn't hook up with the other guy. She hooks up with that one guy. 7 months, 8 months down the line, for whatever reason, they're not hooking up with each other anymore.
Okay.
How long, if she's still in the frame of mind that she's in now and wants what she wants now, how long do you think it will be before she's having sex with somebody else?
It's not even 7 months, ass. It's 7 days with that one. She gonna fuck him. He ain't gonna be thinking about her ass no more. She gonna be on the next show. She gonna be on Flame of Flame 33.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Some niggas get 1 round and 1 round only.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So you say it yourself. So I think it's safe to assume that this will be a pattern for her. Like
at this point in her life.
I know people who have gotten.
Can we also agree? Can we also agree as adults that we have all had patterns of behavior that we had to counter our thinking, and we had to deal with the emotions involving connected to it, and we changed. See,
and why did we change? But why did we change? Because
we didn't like the consequences.
Normally when people change, Ashley, something has to happen. Maybe she had a bad experience. What I'm saying is, I get it. We go through our stuff, but what I'm saying, we go through our stuff, and then we see our 20-something-year-old sisters, and like for me, like I'm in my 40s now, and I see the 20-somethings, right? And I hear their verbiage, I see them doing things, and I have to lead with discernment when I provide guidance. And like I said, I got to show up a certain way in the conversation so they can actively listen to me. Because if I show up like I'm judging, some of them gonna shut us down. We can't control that. So I control how I show up. So all I'm saying is that we all have had patterns of behavior that have not been effective. That does not mean that 6 months from that time or 6 years from that time, she won't have the opportunity to change.
Oh yeah,
or she might change her heart, or she might change her mind.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be done with it. I'm gonna say one thing. I'm be done with it. I said a whole phase, meaning at this point in her life, she really don't have standards on what on who she's inviting into her space and who she's sleeping with. I was at a whole phase in my life. I was at a whole phase in my life.
Just say that.
It sounds like you're
saying. All right,
well,
she got broad. Her standards are broad. But I was at a whole phase in my life, just like a lot of men was at a whole phase in their life. And like you say, in 6 months or whatever time period she gets, or when she wants to change up things and settle down and get ready, she will. I'm not saying she's a bad person for being in a whole phase, because I believe everybody goes through a whole phase. It's just a different type.
No, not
like
everybody.
One person a whole phase for one person might be 3 people in 1 year. A whole phase for another person might be 30 people in 1 year. Whatever that phase is that has you lowering your standards for sexual pleasures, I think is a whole phase. And that's all I'm saying. She's not thinking about other things, but like the things that's important or the things that's important in life. She's thinking about having fun, having sex, getting her rocks off, boom, whole phase. That's what I call it. Now, if you want to take a negative, if it's too negative, that's how you take it. But I'm calling the whole phase. I think everybody has had it. I've had it. I turned out. I'm married now. She can get married. If she wants to get married, or settle down and have some lovely kids, or whatever the case may be. But right now at 22, and she going around asking niggas their dick size, she is in a whole phase. Call it what you want to call it.
Yeah. What you want to call it, but don't be surprised about what comes your way. And to sit here and say, "Oh, that's being judgmental," to me, that's really sad, because it's like we have to be honest. Like you can be loving and still tell the truth. And I think sometimes, especially with women, we tend to be more emotional. Like we won't take the advice because it doesn't sound how it makes how even it happened on this show. It's like let's just be honest about, and it doesn't mean that we were perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if somebody didn't say to us, you know, Ashley, Jovo, Raven, this isn't the way, then how will we know? Like it's like some things we do have to go through, but then it's like I always say, you don't have to try to make mistakes. We're gonna all make mistakes. You don't have to try to do that. So if you can learn from somebody else's experiences or just thinking ahead, then why not? So it's not judgment. Like I just hate that every time somebody is correcting a woman or a young woman, it's seen as judgment.
Well, see, that's my thing, because who's to say it's necessarily correction if we both end up with good jobs and a good husband and healthy kids, and I just got 12 more people on my body count? Who's to say that we're right for correcting me?
I think people keep thinking
it's not about right or wrong.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. To correct implies that I'm doing something wrong. So if you're not correcting me, and all I'm doing is having
correct or prepare, whatever you want to say. What I want to say is like it's not so much about the correction as much as it is about the guidance and preparation. So my whole thing is
preparation for what though? Because if we both end
up
in
what comes with the choices that you make.
Exactly. Both have choices. Just because I have sex with a man doesn't mean it's going to end negatively.
So Raven, so let's say you having sex with 20 men and you have another woman that's having sex with one man. Mm-hmm. Don't you think the risk is going to be different? The risk,
absolutely, but that doesn't negate the risk.
So whether you got a good job in the future and she got a good job in the future, that still is not going to stop the consequence that's going to happen to you and to her, or whatever the consequences may be. Because if you're having sex with 20 people, that means you're upping your chances for STDs. You're upping your chances of you're upping your chances of having these toxic relationships with these crazy psycho men. Just because you have 20 men is a lot of men to deal with.
I'm saying the same argument.
That's 20 different personalities.
It's the same man for 20 years. You can still be getting beat by the same man. You can still be getting STD from the same
man. But 20 men is 20 men.
I'm saying we're assuming automatically that just because you have sex with multiple people that is irresponsible, or that you're not wrapping it up, or it's not consensual, that you drunk, all these things. That's not the case. People have consensual casual sex all the time, and they're not pregnant.
No, I'm not saying that it's
really
not
with toxic situationships. People literally just smash and pay.
But we comparing one woman that's having sex with we're comparing one woman that's having sex with one person and a woman that's having sex with 20.
That's it.
And it's a big difference, and it's more risk.
Well, nobody's arguing that. The risk
is you make it out riskless, not incurring any of the risk. You didn't get pregnant, you didn't get STDs. Then what would be the difference if you had to save yourself or whatever the case may be? There is no difference.
There's no full.
This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the risk right here. The way she's presenting herself to me is,
hey, I don't think you should be doing this. I don't think you should be doing that. They know that. They don't care. That's just
the way she's presenting herself to men is that of a whore. The way a person that's only messed with one man,
everybody's not gonna.
The whole room is filled with whores.
Hey, y'all triggered by that word. Y'all triggered by that word whore. That's the thing. Y'all triggered by that word. I see the problem. Y'all triggered by that word.
Man up there was also a whore.
Y'all triggered by that word.
If she said so, stop playing. You know what?
She's presenting herself as a promiscuous woman, and she will get treated that way. A man is going to approach her with that same energy.
She was in a whore fest. Every single one of them whore. They were acting like whores.
Yeah, they were.
I guess my argument is
whores. How?
I guess my argument is I'm not ignoring the fact that people evolve and change, and I'm not going to make assumptions off of what a girl doing at 22. I'm not going to say what she's doing right now is going to determine.
It's not about her.
You'll have no happiness in life. Like what?
I will say that her all I can tell her is that there are cost and benefits to the choices that you're making in your life right now. And that if you prepare to deal with the consequences behind what you're doing, well then, maybe this will help you see something different or do something different as you evolve and change as you get older. But I guess my stance on it is, if we're going to have the conversation with that age group, think about how you're going to show up in the conversation. That's really all I got to say about it, because I have this conversation for a living on a regular basis with young men and young women. And how you show up in the conversation is definitely going to matter. I have to sometimes look at my own moral code, and I have to do what I call a mental parking lot. It's just like when you go park your car. You don't park your car to get rid of it permanently. You park your car temporarily. So I have to park my moral compass sometimes, and then I got to really hear them on why they're doing what they're doing. And then I can go back and say, okay, let me show you what worked for me when I was your age. Or let me show you or tell you my thoughts about sex and relationships when I was your age. I'm not saying just laugh it off and say, oh, well, she's 22. But I think we do need to manage our expectations going into the conversation with someone like this, and then just be that beacon of light as consistent and as steadily as they allow us to be. That's all we can do.
But so y'all don't think the way a man approaches her is going to be different from the way a man approaches her?
I got four nieces, and well, might as well three. Three of them are in their 20s.
I don't care how a person approaches you, because
we're talking all at once. We're talking all at once.
Three of my nieces are in their 20s now.
Is not the standard to end of
I
life.
can't lead the conversation with them about, okay, here is how you don't become, this is how you don't become a whore, and this is what I did, and this is what works, or whatever. I can do reality-based talk with them and say, hey, you know, there's consequences to sex, there's consequences to this or that. But at the end of the day, I just want them to be able to come to me, get the guidance that they need. It's not me co-signing on what they're doing, because I know they're not going to be the same person forever. And I tell them that all the time. You don't like something about your life at this age, do something about it. You have the power to do something. Here's what worked for me. You know, that's all we can do.
I think we should really stop decentering the male in this perspective. I'm speaking on women prioritizing their sexual pleasure, not holding out for a man that may never ever exist. Prioritizing, yes, because we already got the orgasm gap. Come on now, don't get me started. We need to be prioritizing. It is revolutionary to be prioritizing. So if her standard is, look, for me to get off, you need to be this, and that, and that's what she's looking for, let that be that. But to put, go through 20 traumatic relationships, we don't even know that.
Hold on, so let me get this right. Did she go out and pick those 15 men, or was those just 15 strangers they pulled off the street? Because that ain't prioritizing.
What?
I think what we saw was a game, and I think what we saw is a game, and I think that as light as the game started, that's probably how she started. I think that if that game went a little bit more deeper, I think we would be. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I can't speak for everybody else, but I think that the questions that needed to come out would be expected. I think that. I think it's more to her than
prioritizing would have been her picking the dude, not the dude picking popping a balloon if they don't like her. She wasn't prioritizing shit right there.
It's a game though.
How is she not prioritizing?
She has
none of them want to pop the balloon.
She has her goal in mind.
She's literally the ring leader, and she's not still in control. Explain to me more, brother.
How was she in control? They was in control.
She get who she wanted.
No.
Tell me more.
They had the balloon. Mm-hmm. If they liked her, they didn't pop the balloon. If they didn't like her, they popped the balloon. So the dudes was in control. She was left with whoever didn't pop the balloon. She was left with them.
Every dude they talk to backtrack. Well, maybe if we talk afterward, they ain't stand on shit. Then not one.
She was left with whoever had a balloon.
I don't want to hear it. Everyone
was left with whoever had a balloon.
Because
I could have been up there with a balloon, and she'd have been talking. She been
the one where they rape the women.
Okay, she was prioritizing. Yeah, okay.
Have y'all seen that one? That show where the women come and then the dude be like, "Oh nah, pass or smash."
Yeah, I've seen that.
All them shows are for whores.
all those shows are preying on definitely people's insecurities and need for validation.
Exactly.
They just out
And
trying to
also
fun.
their thirst for clout and exposure. So,
Because no, quiet as kept, no shade, no tea. Her biceps were giving private dancer. Like she got the arms of like, you know what I'm saying? She probably working at Vogue. You know, no, like no shade or nothing. Like for real. Like, did you see her biceps? She looked cut. So if that's the type of industry she in, where
Maybe
y'all
she-
at this point?
Hey.
All right, well,
Hey. I know what all the guys go think of her. So
who cares?
And
Who
she
cares?
cares. She cares because she likes guys.
Who
She
cares?
cares because she's like guys. That's who caars. People who like guys care what guys think.
Darwin, let me ask you something.
What are we
Darwin,
talking about?
let me ask you something. When you were in transition,
You're watching too much Kevin Samuel.
When you were in transition from becoming who you used to be to, the man that you are now, who did you seek guidance from, and what was the biggest thing you got from them, and why did you allow them to guide you? But what turned you on to like listen to their guidance?
Well, I didn't seek any.
What did you get though, and why did you listen? Because somebody had to say something, right?
No.
What taught you? What taught you to be, like Jody the baby daddy to like Darwin the husband?
I saw men in my life changing. I saw a change in my uncle. The uncle that I looked up to that was a big time player and this and that. I saw him settling down, getting a wife. And that's when I was like, man, maybe this is the life that I want to be in. And I start watching him, and that was the example that I want to go off of. So
I'm glad you said that.
Sound like exactly
you
what we
see
just
an
said.
old hoe change his stripes.
You see somebody evolve. That's crazy.
See, y'all take it a little bit too personal because I said
no. You just pointed out to me.
Y'all want to take off this word. Y'all want to take out the phase. Phase being a period in a person's life where they're acting a certain way. Phase. I didn't say this one is a whore for.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Doomed for death and all this. So
I'm not disagreeing with you.
All right, so let's not.
I just want you to recognize the power. Recognize the power of people's actions and their ability to evolve, and how their journey teaches other people.
Yeah,
that's all I want you to recognize. Because look at the brother we got on the show now. Look at the brother we got on the show.
Didn't need guidance.
Some people didn't need.
I said this woman could turn out to be a great wife, have loving kids. I said all of this stuff. I know what evolution is, but right now we gonna call it what it is, and that's y'all act like y'all don't want to call it what it is.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was, is she going to value guidance? Should it be provided to her? The answer is she has the information available to her. If you would like to be in her life and support her, you can do that.
Yeah.
She
right now,
probably will shut down depending on what brand of guidance you provide. Because let's face it, she don't really want it. That was the question.
I think she's doing okay in life. I don't. Listen here.
But
I said she's not a bad person. I said she ain't a bad person. She ain't a bad person. She got a lot of stuff going on for herself. If she want to be out here playing around, having fun, she's allowed to do that. Everybody is. I said she needs to date more. I feel like this, but with intentions. Just because you having fun, that don't mean you have to be reckless and just giving yourself to any old body because they didn't pop a goddamn balloon. That's all I'm saying.
We don't even
That's
know
all I'm saying.
any of those.
She might have an
saying
aunt.
She don't know what she wants.
She might have an aunt who evolves.
She's not prioritizing.
She might have an aunt who evolves, and then she gonna change.
Raven. I'm talking to Raven.
You know
though.
what I'm saying?
Raven said she prioritizing her sex when this woman says she don't even know what she want in a man. So you can't prioritize shit when you don't even know what you want.
She don't even get her off.
That's not how prioritizing goes.
We don't even know if she has sex with any of those men. First
All
of
right,
all,
she ain't having sex.
all of okay, personal sex.
She
don't even
gonna
know
go get a dildo the size of that man dingaling and freak herself in. That's what she gonna
All
do.
right, y'all. We done with this conversation.
Brown down.
We done. It's done. All right, thank y'all. That was interesting. That was very interesting.
I like it.
For anyone who's watching, I'm gonna drop the the link in the chat.
Keep my goddamn daughter away from y'all asses. That much right now.
I'll put the
I
link
like
in the
how
chat if you want to join us.
Ashley just sat and let y'all go, and she was just like,
I know, I'm just like, let them have at it. So, do y'all want to do another topic, or y'all want to call it a night?
I don't know. These dead sisters over there. I don't know. Sisters. I drink a little bit more.
Oh Lord.
I gave y'all warning now.
All right, I could do one more, but we gotta try to keep it kind of concise.
All right.
Save it for later. All right. So one of my questions was, at what age do you stop blaming your parents?
Oh, this is a good one too. That shit.
Now, it might be that you think, because I personally think you should never blame your parents for anything. As an educator, around children, I try to help them understand that, nobody can make us do anything, right? So that's just kind of like just a rule of thumb. Like, nobody can make you do anything, right? Like, there are different things that influence your decision, right? But even though I know they're young, I know their brains are still developing, but I think that it's just a lesson that we can't wait till we're 18 to learn, right? Like, we have to teach our kids that there are consequences to their actions, right? So, yeah, Johnny, made you mad because he took your pencil, but he didn't make you hit him, though, right? So, like, just an example, right? So, I personally don't think we can ever blame our parents for our actions, but obviously, parenting impacts how kids turn out.
But what if somebody don't really feed their kid that much while they at home, and so they stole another kid's like lunch? Can we blame the parent for that action?
I think you can blame the parent for being neglectful. Yeah.
Yeah, but can we say that the parent is the reason why the kid chose that action because they put them in that situation?
Well, I believe the parent is the reason for putting that kid in a desperate situation, because although that desperate situation led them to go and steal, they could have done something else too.
Yeah, they could have asked.
So what about the mom who just got convicted for her son's shooting the teacher? Whoa.
Oh wait, that was definitely her fault.
So did she give him the gun?
She left it in where he could get it. He was 6.
So, but did she get indicted for shooting?
Or it was like child neglect.
Oh yeah, that's what she was responsible for.
It was something else, but she ended up getting like a year and a half, something like that.
Well, I do think that she needs to be held responsible for what she did, which was, I don't know if that's considered child neglect, neglecting a child, endangering a child, or contributing to a child's delinquency. I'm not sure what they would call that, but I don't think she should be held responsible, or can be, I guess, held responsible for his actions. But
he's 6.
Yeah.
What about the school shooter?
He is 16.
So what do you all think? What do you think?
I think that
is there a certain age, or like
I don't think that it's a certain age. I think that it's just like going through the different stages of grief. I think it's just a part of life, right? I think that to a large extent, adults are responsible for the behavior of their children to a certain extent, not fully, because trust me, I know, because these kids, but there are some things like the environment we have our children in, the things that we teach them or don't teach them, and all the other stuff, it contributes to what their behaviors are going to be. So I think that it is. But as far as
that, you stop saying,
I don't think it's an age. I just think it's when you are going through that process of self-awareness and you just really learn, like, because I feel like you have to do it almost. I feel like it's just like grief, like what's the first stage of grief? Like
admitting.
What is it? Is it at midnight? I don't think it's at midnight. It's
denial.
Yeah, like y'all know what I mean. Like you got to go through these stages. So I feel like in life, when you start to kind of reconcile who you are and the choices you made in life, or what you're doing, or where you want your life to be, whatever it is, right? Whenever you get to that place, you go like through a process, and it's one step where you blaming your parents. You like, if they would have never did this, then I wouldn't have never done it. But I feel like once it's time for you to like grow, to then you have to let that go, right? You have to then start to self-reflect and say, hey, this may have been my environment, but I could have made a different choice. Or this may have been my environment, and maybe that was the only choice at that moment, but now I can make different choices, right? Because so I can't keep putting it, oh, I'm this way now after I'm having this understanding, right? Because my parents did XYZ when I was like you can't keep doing it. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily know if it's the age. I just think it's like a process. And when you start to go through that self-reflection and you kind of just trying to grow in your life, I feel like that's something you have to grow past. Like I feel like it's normal and it's natural. I feel like everybody do it. I feel like everybody go through that phase where, but I feel like it's fair. Because it is things to blame on our parents, right? It's things that's to blame for our parents, but I feel like it's something you just gotta reconcile and then grow past.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think the same thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I grew. Yeah, I grew up in a neglectful situation. So my parents did not raise me. My parents had addiction issues. So if you would have looked at me at 11 and said, you know what, you need to take responsibility for your actions, I probably would have, tried to throw my pistol at you or something, because it's just like, you don't even know what's going on in my family. So how can you try to force accountability onto me? But I had to grow, and, life changes. I talked about that earlier today. Like, when you going through a major life change and you have all these emotions going on, it's hard for you to like pinpoint like what age. It's like experience, kind of like what Canon is saying. Like, when you grow into self-awareness and you start growing into learning about who you are, you start healing some parts. And I know for my personal journey, I had to I think I was maybe like my first and second year in college. I had to stop blaming my parents for like everything. Like, had y'all been around, my life would have been different. And I had to, a professor of mine was like, I sympathize with you and I have empathy for your situation, but how many more times you gonna use that statement? Because you're not the only person whose parents didn't show up for them. Like, and that triggered me to want to work on self-awareness. So I think it's just I don't think there's an age. I think that there is a moment in life where you're aware and you grow into knowing who you are.
Do you all think that the world sets a certain age at which you can no longer blame your parents, or like, so not just yourself, but like society and people as a whole? Do we kind of have an age by which we say it might not?
I don't think
it's say it's not your parents' fault.
I think it's how old you look. Because if we look at the justice system, we see, our kids going away way younger, than some of our counterparts. And it's just, hey, I can look at you and see a man versus I can look at you and see a teen that's making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? We can look at each other and say that. But yeah, it's
also my bad. Sorry. Also, I think it depends on the dynamic that the parent and the child have, regardless of how old that child is. Only because y'all know Gypsy Rose just got out. And she was a child or an adult or whatever the hell was going on with that. But she was manipulated by her mom for so long and to such a degree.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I definitely blame
I would have had some mercy on her. I don't think I would have sent her to jail.
Yeah, but blaming her mother, because her mother was the villain in her story in every which way. But I don't think it's an age, like you guys said. It's more so a mindset, because she was getting traumatized well past 18. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her trauma and abuse started so young, and her whole mind was changed or impacted because of all this abuse. So even though she was 18, it's like she's been abused her whole life. So she was just in like a really vulnerable state. And then she was in a vulnerable state emotionally and mentally, but also just like physically. Like, she had nobody. Her mom really made her think that she was incapable and that nobody else, that she didn't have anybody. So, but so I do think that the murder that she planned, that murder over the course of an extended period of time, she planned it. I do think she is accountable for that. But of course, we can understand why, right? It's like the person who is like, you know what I mean? We can definitely understand why. So I would blame her mom for what she did, which was abuse her daughter. Yeah. But if I was the judge, I would have given her like some probation or something. I could not have sent that girl to jail. I just couldn't.
And for such a long time, she wasn't in jail for no years. She was in jail for a minute.
Yeah.
She was in jail for a while.
To me, that's like adding trauma. You know?
Yeah.
It is. It is. I work juvenile lockup, juvenile detention facilities, especially in the South, is a trauma cluster. You know what? It needs to be reformed immediately. Go vote in your local elections.
Thank you so much.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Judges,
Yeah.
I think judges are more important than governors and all those people.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the only reason why I don't think society stops blaming parents at a certain age. Because, and I was thinking mostly of the criminal justice system, because people be bringing up all the time how they was raised. Once they get up in there, they be 80 years old. They be like, "But my parents used to beat on me, and then they did." And it's taken into account. So I can't say as society either. Just like she was saying that it depends on just people's perception of where they. I don't know. It's real. People just, you know, they can be kind of subjective about that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Any last thoughts about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Jovo, your husband had a question. You never read it. What was the question?
I didn't. We segued on from co-parenting to talking about popping the balloon. And the funny part is, and I'm pretty sure he done fell asleep now, but the funny part is he came in here and was like, "You gonna ask my question?" So yeah. He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
He gonna be like, "Yeah, you couldn't answer my question." And I was
trying to get him to pull up. I was like, "Look, you already know. Watch when I go in there. You need to answer my question." So
you gonna be like, "You can ask everybody else's question, but you ain't answer my question." That's what he gonna say.
I didn't even see it.
I tried to get him to pull up.
But what was the question?
His question in terms of co-parenting, what if you're living with someone, they got their kids, and then you like the Brady Bunch, essentially. Mm-hmm. How can you say, like, you discipline your kids one way, they discipline their kids another way? It's a blended family. How is it going to work in terms of what we were talking about discipline? Like no to this type of discipline for this kid. Are you gonna how do you live in a home where the children are not
half of them getting their ass and half of them?
Don't beat my kids.
Right.
We had this conversation. Don't beat my
kids. That's what I was gonna say. I ain't got nothing to do with the listen. If you've been beating on your kid, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Don't start coming over like, why I'm getting beat on. Now you questioning why you getting beat on. I don't know. You gotta ask your parents. I don't know.
Yeah, I only think it works if they're
and we kind of, when I was turning my camera off, it was kind of like a little debate with me and him, because I'm always telling him that every child is not the same. Like every child is not the same. You
can't parent them the same.
And that's what we culturally messed up with that. Like culturally we messed up with that, because my dad, he grew up like hard. He talked about how his grandma was just mean. But he was like, my grandma only did what her grandparents and her parents did. And he said, that's just how Black people were. Like they just want to beat you into submission and like, follow rules, and you got to do this and do all these chores. And, by the time we came around, and of course, when people become grandparents, you can't treat these kids like we were treated, So, he used to say that all the time. And that's what I'm telling my husband, like, for us to think that everything that we were taught as kids gonna work for this generation, that's not realistic. Like, they have way too much access to technology and resources for us to think that, I gotta go out there and tell, go out there and hang out the clothes. And it's like, mama, ain't no clothes to hang out. We got a dryer. Like, so we were just debating about that. So he had a question about that though. Okay. And I think he wanted to ask Darwin that, like, and you can, and like, y'all have a blended family. How do y'all make it work? I don't know why, because I don't think he blended his family with nobody.
Oh,
I'm being silly.
Somebody paused. But my take on the blame thing.
She's singing.
my take on the blame thing. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to look up the definition, like just to make sure that it says assign responsibility for a fault or wrong, and I think that's going to go on forever, right? As long as you're doing self-discovery of yourself and why you're the way that you are. I think you can blame your parents until you die, right? If you still learning yourself. So as long as you're learning yourself and learning things about you, and you start to dig and see why things are happening that way, and if it's some fault to put on your parents, then you're gonna be like, hey, 60 years old, like, man, I'm this way because of I didn't get this from my father, I didn't get this from my mother. You know, it was just a couple of years ago till I started doing counseling, and I realized a lot of bad habits and things that I have gotten. And I realized I got it because my father either didn't instill some things in me, or he did instill some things in me. So I don't think it's an age on it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how you interpret it and how you react to it, because they only know what they know. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you're at a young age and you find some fault in them, you're going to take it out on them and blame them and react a certain way. But if you live long enough, you'll start understanding the world a little bit better, and you should learn how to accept the things that they couldn't do and start accepting things that they could do. And you will just be like, okay, my father or my mother did the best they could with what they had at the time, and I have to do better. You know what I'm saying? And because your kid is going to get older, and it's going to be some things that they're going to feel like you didn't do or did do. And you're going to want that same empathy that you should give your parents, that, you know, you're going to want that from them. So, yeah, it's okay. Like, you just got to own it, you know? And if you can't have a talk with your parents about what happened, and maybe, you know, because you never know, maybe they feel the same way you feel. You know, maybe they feel like, man, I should have did this, I should have did that, because they still growing too, they still evolving too. You know, I think sometimes we tend to forget that you know, just because we get into this age and we feel like, oh, our parents didn't live their life. No, they did live their life. They still alive, they still living, they're still evolving, they're still learning, they still going through things, they still have problems, they still, you know, we have to understand that, like, their life isn't over just because we think we didn't get to this place where we don't need them. Nah, they still got feelings. You know what I'm saying? They went through 30 years ago. They can still go through that same shit now, but just with us. And we don't want to be the ones to send them through that trauma that they went through, all because we can't have any empathy for, you know, the things that they did.
Okay. All righty, y'all. I am going to go ahead and close us out, but I do want everybody to give their famous last words. All right. So if nobody remembers anything else you said tonight, what would you like them to remember? What's the one thing you like them to remember? All right. Who likes to go first?
Everybody got a whole face.
What?
Everybody got a whole face. I'll just advise everybody when they're in their whole phase to live their best life and have the most fun that you can, because you can't stay a hoe forever. And that's all I got to give.
All right, Kenny.
I'm gonna say my last word is gonna be just grace, man. You know, you can't blame your parents forever. So the sooner you can come to that realization and make changes, the better your life will be. Good night.
All right, thank you. Who'd like to go next?
I would like to go next.
Okay.
I would like to say, if we all end up at the same finish line, I'm definitely gonna pop this cap. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
no, you're not.
If we all end up at the same party, what's the problem?
Okay. All right, you want to go?
I am gonna say your pussy, your priorities. So.
Sure.
All right.
Oh,
all right. So now we have Jovo.
It's two different types of kids you can be. One, you can be the kid in the car on the way to Disney World who keeps asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You don't see the value in the journey to get to Disney World. And then you can be the kid who actually sees the value, where he's excited about the stop to Buc-ee's. He's excited about the stop at the state line. He's watching nature. He's observing the journey and living in the moment. Be the latter. Live in the moment. Tomorrow ain't promised.
Interesting. Well, my last word is a little different. First off, I want to say thank you all for joining us. We are back. This is our second show back after a long hiatus. So we're trying to build our audience again. So please share the content throughout the week on Facebook. Just show us some love. All right. In regards to our conversations tonight, I would say be open to, advice, wisdom, and instruction. I think that we all make mistakes, and nobody is above being forgiven or shown grace. But just watch, and try to learn. Life is hard enough. If you can learn and avoid some pitfalls, I would encourage you to do so. All right. And that's it. That's all I got to say, y'all. I had fun tonight.
Yes.
Fun. Okay. All right, y'all. Until next time, we're going to say good night. Bye. Peace.
I love them. Bye, y'all. So, bye.